Balls.
Balls. It's a great way to segue into me leaving ads. Balls.
Balls.
Boys.
Wait, is he in a game? Is he making a lobby?
He came on an ad, so he's probably greeting chat or something.
Oh, I can greet my chat. Hold on. Hey, chat. I love you.
What's up, chat?
All right, that was it. I just muted myself again.
We can turn on the shared chat too.
Oh yeah, let me open that. Chrome. Twitch.
That's cool, because then it makes me feel like I have someone to talk to.
Great.
Get all your chatters.
Oh my. Totally chatting all the time, chatters.
I mean, yeah.
Fucking lurkaholics.
They are the lurkers. I get the lurkers. Oh no, my cat wants out of the room. She's trapped.
What? No. Oh, there's Stitch.
There you go, look.
No, I should have kept the cat prisoner.
No, she won't stop meowing. And then I'll feel bad. Hi, Stitch.
Oh my gosh. I have a sticker of a cute little
Hello, I'm
dinosaur
here.
wearing a Santa hat on my hand. It's the greatest thing ever.
What? Say that again?
It's a little dinosaur wearing a Santa hat. It's
Dinosaur. Rawr.
Theodore.
Dinosaur.
Jurassic Park.
Rawr. Rawr. Whoa.
Wow. Stream together.
Wait, I gotta open Twitch for that.
Oh my god. Hurry up.
Again.
Yeah.
What's my age again?
I'm saying, what's your age? What the?
Yeah, it's Blink-182. What do you mean?
Oh, that's what you recorded. I'm already in the game with it! Right. Oh, that was the hot lady.
Share. Oh, yeah, I have to wait for Waybat. That's right. Like it says it's not enabled, but I forgot I have to wait for him to join.
Yeah, wait for Waybat. I also don't have Waybat on my favorites list. I'll show you that. Yeah, no, it's on my favorites list.
Play game. Oh, I thought I already installed it. Apparently I never installed YapYap.
No.
I am back.
It's not a very big game, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's almost done already.
Hey, Stitch.
Hello.
How you doing?
Waybat, accept my love.
What?
I mean, except the share chat invite thing.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
He said he loves you.
No.
Oh, that's so cute. I like it.
Aww.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
let's
such a
see
good, that was
here.
such a nice moment.
I know. I don't see the thing to start the thing.
Click on the your little
Why is
inbox
Discord not
thing.
showing up in my patch bay?
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Oh, it's in the inbox.
Stitch, are you streaming?
Oh dear Lord.
I'm trying, but I can't separate you guys from the
It
music.
says error.
Oh no.
Error.
Maybe I just do no music.
Yeah.
I mean,
But like, I physically cannot put the Discord output elsewhere. It's just everything that my ears can hear is going directly into OBS.
oh,
I love that.
So, hey, Red, are you and Chi already connected?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have to disconnect and reconnect with make a new one?
I guess it's telling me an error.
What?
It's telling
Why?
me errors.
I don't know. He broke.
Oh, not the game. The
shared
thing,
live chat. I'm
the
sorry,
stage.
I'm looking off the side here because my screen's so big on my monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you a share chat thing sent, message sent because I stream.
Okay. Well, why is it not working at all?
It's just me and G right now. We can remake it. She broke. Oh, she left.
Oh, I thought we had to do a new one.
All right, we'll just
It's
make a
okay.
new one.
We'll do that. I'll hit it.
Okay.
There's one that says join on Chi's channel.
Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na.
There we go. I got it. Got into Reds. I think. Hang on.
Yeah, I'm not in one, so that'd be really hard.
Just knock on somebody.
Here, I'll just I'll knock on Red. Start share chat.
No, don't start until everyone's in. No, you don't start until like everyone's in because there's sometimes issues.
Yeah, if you start share chat before everybody's in the room, it'll break.
Oh, okay. Mine automatically does it. So let me end the share chat. There we go.
Or it's already automatically does it. That's not even what.
What? Every time I've done it before, it actually starts it up already.
Oh.
Oh, weird.
Okay.
I gotta.
Now let me get Chi in here.
Stidge already knocked on me. Stidge and I are in our own without you guys.
Yeah.
What?
And I'll send one to Stitch.
It's funny.
There. Did y'all get those?
No.
No. I think it's because we're already in one Stitch.
We have broke it. I'm
Could
going
be.
to. I'm
I don't
going to
know what to
theirs.
tell you. Okay.
All right, one person
I'll go
needs
to
to do
yours.
it. And one person.
I'll go to you guys. It fucking smells like cake over there.
Hey.
Cake.
Oh, I just got it.
Well, it's already ended.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
We love the scuff.
I know. I'm just so good. I'm just waiting for the thing to tell me.
Something went wrong. Please try again. I can't accept you, Red. It's telling me no.
What?
Let me try. It doesn't matter what button I pick. It's every time I click a button, it's just like fuck you. Oh,
So are you doing it or is Stitch doing it?
1 second.
There we go. Turn mic off and mute that crap.
What? No. I'm lonely.
I'm
not with
trying.
anyone.
I'm trying. It's not letting me do anything until this timer goes away.
I'm so lonely.
There's a timer.
Oh god,
thing.
double whambat singing.
Yeah, I ran away in the end game, so what do you guys?
I'm running away also.
Oh yeah, wait a minute. Can you invite me to the game again? I had to install.
Yes, as soon as we use the Ponderer orb, right?
You can, or you can just shift tab.
Oh, well, hell, that's a lot easier.
Either way, it does the same thing.
Okay, there's
Why did
one
I'm
person-
in the game already?
Oh. Let me get Chi then.
Okay, Red.
Well, let's see.
All right, did you get that one, Chi?
Yeah.
Oh, it worked.
Hey.
What about you, Red? Did you get one? Yep, you're in too.
I've been in. That's...
Yay! I'm sorry, I was standing around the
Now.
orb trying to figure things out.
Oh, I'm muted on my stream. That's funny. Now.
Okay, now I turn
no.
on shared chat. Stitch.
Will it let me?
It should. It won't let me turn it on.
No,
Yeah,
it's because I wasn't live like a dumbass.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I didn't see Stooge live, but he was talking about being live and audio.
I am live. I am live. Start sharing chat. It says you must be live in order to enable shared chat. But I'm live. I'm live right now. Quit lying to me.
Refresh. Turn
Yeah,
it off
mine's,
and back on again.
There
my
it is.
share chat's like,
Ah!
there we go.
There we
Yes! It took us
Let's go.
20 minutes, but we've done it!
go. Alright, I'm muting in Discord.
Me too.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Oh. Be nice to Siri. Wow, it actually chose my correct microphone. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay. Barrel. Yeah. No, I said barrel. Ow! 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 Stop it. Wait, how do you know what the spells are? What is Tempest? Oh, it made a tornado. Oh, achoo! Where do we find that? Who's that guy? Hi, shopkeeper. Oh my god, you're so talented. Red ran away from the explanation. It's kind of like Repo, except you're wizards, and instead of collecting stuff, you're breaking stuff. What? Ow! Why do you have a pretty stick? Ah! Wee! Ow. Oh, you hurt her. You can't hear my game? Oh, good call. Volume mixer. Yap, yap. Game.
I just
Okay.
ate the potion ingredient when I clicked back in accidentally.
Nice.
Oh.
Tempest.
Can I drop this?
Up dog.
Yeah. Q. Okay.
Dog.
Also,
We're
I
learning.
just-
Alright.
Dog.
Hey, Giga, how's it going?
Can you hear everything?
Ouch.
Can
Can
you
no
hear
longer
everything
have
okay now,
disabled enough when I'm
Giga?
muted, but
Right, cooldowns.
Thanks for letting me know. I forgot to
Up dog.
I forgot to assign it to its proper
Dog.
Aerial.
place.
can I refresh? it?
Tempest.
Aerial.
I also need to adjust
This is actually
my
pretty cool.
friends.
Dog, 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 dog.
There we go.
Hey, that's actually pretty cool. You hit it outside of hitting yourself. Arrow.
I think I'm also going to turn my music off so it's not overstimulating.
Arrow.
There it
Okay,
is.
one thing that Alsanna and I learned while playing
Arrow.
Yes.
Tempest.
is if you hold the wand in your left hand by pressing F,
No.
you can hold another wand in your right hand and have the spells of both.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Wait, if I get another
that's
stick, it'll have
awesome.
different
I found that
spells?
one out earlier. I gotta react like a streamer. That's amazing. What
Wow.
else?
That's,
can
that's
you
actually
do?
pretty smart there, Giga. Bounce between all of our streams to see all the different ways. Or all the chaos from different angles.
So if I grab another
Why isn't it changing?
So if I grab another stick, will I have
Tempest.
different powers?
Oh, up dog. Aerial.
Oh dear lord.
Oh. Whee!
Arrow.
Up dog. Dog, dog, dog,
It's like you're
dog,
playing
dog,
FNAF.
dog, 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 dog.
Aerial.
There we go.
Giga's just in the office with the locked doors in FNAF, just tabbing through cameras.
Arrow! Wait, it doesn't work.
I just want to see if I
Eventually the power's gonna go out.
Oh, you
and
have to
then
hold the
Tempest
button.
gets you, Giga.
Tempest!
All of a sudden,
sometimes
all
you'll just be
Giga's
talking.
power- Huh?
And it'll just cast a spell, and
Arrow.
you'll just be like, "I didn't say Tempest, you bastard!"
mercy.
Like that?
It's not working.
Okay, so we're probably not doing that.
Arrow!
Leave the shopkeeper alone, whoever did that.
Am I muted in
I
the
gotta
game?
go test a few spells. I'll be right back.
Where is
I
he
gotta
going?
test a few spells. I have
He
no
knows he
clue.
doesn't have the wand that does the things he was saying, right?
Can you hear me?
I don't know if he was listening.
Stitch, can
You
you,
know
hear
the
me?
funniest thing?
Stitch,
Chi?
can you hear me? It's broken.
Chi, are you talking?
Silent.
Chi, you are dead silent right now.
Yeah.
Why? Test.
Around a mage who is always silent.
Chi.
Hello?
In your audio,
Because they
is
had
your
the
microphone
bad
set
habit of
correctly?
talking their hands with their
Yes.
hands. Okay.
Guys, oh,
What,
Dick.
What the heck? I didn't say anything.
Exactly!
What if
You didn't say arrow, but it did it anyway.
guys, I learned a new spell.
No, you didn't.
Enormous
Okay.
dickus. And you look at my penis.
You
Nah,
have
still
to say
tiny.
like whatever the
Fuck.
maximum. Yeah.
Are
You
we
have
trying
to
biggest
say double,
dickus?
quintuple, whatever.
Oh,
What?
wait,
I need to
wait,
do it
enormous
here.
erectus.
Damn, the force of that one blew me away.
Why is it picking up for arrow
Hello?
at enormous erectus?
I don't know, but it's funny. Enormous erectus. Oh, I don't want to go. Oh no, it's small.
It's like
Arrow.
oh, that would have been hilarious if it just like actually made you bigger.
Frick.
Spelled to make you bigger. If it was like from
Enormous erectus.
no, well, biggest dickus is what I was gonna say. Was the name
Enormous
from the
Yeah, they can.
Mel Brooks movie?
Oh, I did it twice. What the fuck?
I wonder if it's because
Tempest.
I changed my...
Up dog. Dog, 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 dog. Ah!
I wonder if it's because I changed my audio source, so now it's like confused. Let me see if I can join a friend's game. No, I can't. Okay. Whoops. It looked like it was working again, though. Invite me to the game again. My sound broke. Yeah. All right, let's see.
Need to. There we go.
Oh,
Like it's one of the possible words that they could
Can
add
you
a
hear
spell
me
for.
now?
Hi!
There you
Yes,
go.
we can hear you.
Ow.
Okay.
Ow.
Go into your settings and change your color so you're not piss robes.
Wait, how do I do
what?
that?
Where's that setting? Fuck.
General.
I got my favorite
color
color from the start. Nice.
What?
Oh.
Oh,
It's under
there's
your
color.
general settings. Oh, this
No,
is going to be really
my,
confusing.
my color. I get to keep red.
His name
This
Yeah,
is going
is,
to
Arrow.
be really confusing with both of you as red.
but his name is literally red.
I'll change it red. We'll give you. I'll let you keep your name.
I get to be red this time. Yeah. You were red last time.
Wait a minute, you can be white. You can be white.
Where was the thing to change the color?
General settings.
General settings.
Am I blue now?
Color.
You're blue now.
Yes, you are Chi.
Chi.
Yeah.
Enormous erectus.
Oh God. That's crazy.
Damn it! I didn't say arrow.
You said there go.
Oh.
Tempest.
All right, we ready?
Oh no!
'Cause we're not gonna be able to,
Yeah, I
unless
think
we can
we're
find
ready.
5 more bucks.
Oh,
Well, can we sell the lid here?
I don't know. Try it.
what can we sell?
Everyone, run around and look for potion
Your
ingredients.
enormous erectus.
What does a potion ingredient look like?
Arrow.
It's for 0.
They're just laying on the ground.
How do I break this box? Can I break this box? Oh, I just threw it.
You just throw it. Arrow.
Ow.
There, it's broken.
Whoa. Nothing in those boxes. What's over
Yep,
here?
yeah.
I found a frog. Guys, I got a frog. Can I sell that? Guys?
Well met.
Hello?
Dog, 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 dog.
Guys!
mana.
I found a frog.
What?
All right,
Not
sell the
even
frog.
linking to the correct
I had
wambat.
You stole him.
I did.
He's really ugly.
How dare you talk about our money bag like that?
Hey!
Yeah, can I sell him?
How's it
How do I
going,
sell him?
Ruby? Jump scare. Yeah.
How do I
You
sell
don't.
him?
No, 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 no.
Oh.
After every night or every mission we go on, the frogs will eat a bug and cough up 5 coins or a gem, which is 30 coins.
Oh, so I just put him down?
Just set him down.
Oh,
And then while we're in the level, collect every frog you find. See, look, he
Oh, he
gave you
just
5
dropped money.
coins.
Whoa! Shit, money. Oh shit!
Whoa.
Money shit. That's.
Wait,
Piss
how do
yuck.
how do I put him down now?
Oh.
Get peed on.
Ew, gross! Hi, Ruby.
Oh my god. Why did
Achoo.
you piss?
Oh, ew.
I almost got hit
Achoo.
by the snot.
Yucky. No.
Jump, piss yuck.
Stitch, I don't know how to tell you, but your piss tastes like a cheeseburger. I don't know what's going on.
Fish yuck.
How do I put the frog down?
He's on a fish.
How do I put down the
I love
frog?
this already.
Oh. Oh, you have to swap.
Cute.
Oh,
Green.
look
Oh
at
my
me
god!
fish
It
surfing.
even makes his voice super high.
A fish. Oh, he's
It was
gone.
Red Hoodie. I turned into a fish.
Oh, fish. It said I could get
All
on.
right.
Are we going inside now? Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright.
I'm guessing we all need to be in the summoning circle.
No, you can actually summon. Just start it and leave. It will still go. No problem.
Whoosh.
Put my wand away.
Whoosh.
4D audio.
I
What is 4D audio?
have
Is
the wrong
that also have
wambat?
smell?
What do you mean?
Yeah, Wambat 86 is the correct one. You're linking to a different Wambat.
Oh no! I clicked it.
Oh,
Alright,
sorry, at the top.
I gotta fix it. 1 sec.
There better be more than one wham.
All right.
There shouldn't be more than one wham bat.
So, to break stuff, the easiest way is to look at it and say, arrow.
Arrow.
Okay, arrow.
Well, we gotta be a little closer than that for wind magic.
Up dog.
Oh, bye.
Arrow.
Arrow.
Your turn, Chi.
Arrow.
1 second. I'm fixing something.
Before Hoodie smashes everything.
I'll leave that. I was just gonna do these boxes. Arrow.
Up dog.
Ouch. I guess I had no choice.
Dog. Oh, there we go. Hey, look, I got back up here.
Area. Or up dog. Dog.
There we go. Ow!
There we go.
Yeah, the game, when you say
Sorry.
there we go, the game thinks that you said arrow.
Ow!
Area.
Oh, sorry.
It's not tea everywhere.
So take that candle so you can see.
Area.
Now let's go! Oh, at my knees! Don't drop there.
My balls.
Piss yuck.
Wait, how do you get down there without getting hurt?
Pissing on his tapestry. It's a powerful
So-
stream.
Oh, I can't set on fire with it.
What happens if there's
What, Chi?
Arrow.
What happens if there's monsters? What do you do?
Run away.
Run.
That's all you do? There's no like hiding or crouching or anything?
Not unless you have a fire wand to fight back. And there's also like cupboards you can hide in.
Okay.
Hey, stick.
Piss yuck.
Oh, shit.
Arrow.
Hey, Stitch.
Oh, it's already broken.
Where'd Stitch go?
I'm pissing on this
Right
tapestry.
Oh, I found a dragon bone and a goblin tooth by a campfire out here.
Cool, send them back to stash.
Okay.
Arrow.
Oh.
I'm a wizard, Harry.
Okay. Arrow.
What's this? Oh.
That's a scary
Arrow.
basement. I don't want to go down there.
Here we go. Can you break the ladle thing?
No,
Giant eye down here.
don't let it shoot you.
Down
yeah,
where?
I think it hurt.
Arrow.
Ooh, that urn that you just broke had a phoenix feather in it.
Nice.
Arrow.
Oh, the eye went away. Arrow.
Where'd you guys
Enormous
go?
Arrow.
Yes. Sorry. It's getting
It's okay.
Oh, also you can hit G to view your contracts.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can grab one of these candle holders and go burn the pissed on tapestries.
I
Yay.
can?
Not with that candle, unfortunately.
Aw, man.
It's got to be one of the big ones that Wambat's holding.
Oh, I saw one
Am I
over
crazy?
here
It
somewhere.
was like that it for this fucking level, or unless I missed something.
There's one.
No, there's so much more.
Which doorway did I not look at? This one?
The closed one, probably.
Oh, you see, it's fine.
So
Enormous
dark.
Arrow.
Yes.
It's so dark.
You're holding a candle for that reason.
I know, but it's
Let's
still
turn the
really
brightness
dark.
Enormous erectus. Nice.
I think I need to turn my brightness up.
I hear a knight.
Oh yeah.
That's not good.
Oh, he's coming down the stairs!
Achoo!
Arrow.
Achoo!
Ow!
Oh,
Ow!
Achoo!
Ow, I'm scared!
Go downstairs.
It's scary down here.
Yeah, just break things while you're down here.
There's something
yeah,
moved
the
over
knights
there.
don't like it when you cast
Arrow.
spells. Here we go.
Knight down here.
Ah, ah!
No.
Up, dog. Dog.
Excuse me, sir. Oh shit. Ow. I
Arrow.
ran out of stamina. Oh shit, there's more than one. Ow.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna die here
god.
real soon.
I'm scared.
Up.
Oh, he's gonna get me!
Get the achoo. Slows them down.
Dog, get me up there.
And then And then the piss yuck on the achu makes the slime bigger.
I would shit. You just
Oh shit.
Up dog.
Standing right there.
Dog, dog, dog.
Guys,
No.
guys, I'm scared. Are they gone yet?
Ariel. Ariel.
Arrow.
Ariel.
Fish yuck.
Arrow.
Pushed him away.
Well, I'm fucking with it.
Ah.
Watch out, eyeball.
Wabbit! Wabbit!
Yeah, hang on.
My candle
Gotta-
burned out! My candle
gotta
burned
not-
out! My candle burned
Okay,
out!
okay, where are you?
I'm scared!
Right here, I'm right here.
Ariel.
The way we came in was back this way, I think.
Tempest.
Yeah, that's not the way we go.
No, other way? Other way.
No, I went out of here. I'm scared. My candle burned
Well,
out.
we have to find extraction.
Oh.
Up
Yeah,
dog,
this is
dog,
just
dog, dog, dog,
random.
dog, 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 dog. Yeah, it's that way.
Oh, okay. You heard the man.
Here.
Up dog.
I can't see a fucking
Dog,
thing.
dog, 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 dog,
It's
dog,
so
dog,
dark.
dog, 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 dog. Oh, come on.
Just jump
How
down.
do you get up there all the way?
There's stairs. Oh my god.
Here I am.
Where are
I,
stairs? Oh, stairs down.
I can't see.
Ariel.
It's so black and dark.
Somebody go.
It doesn't help that I'm wearing black robes.
Right.
There we go.
There.
I'm right behind you, Chi.
Tempest.
Meow.
Avada Kedavra. I mean,
Here you go.
Whoa.
Big door.
arrow.
Burn that table.
Candle.
Oreo.
I hear a frog.
Yeah, burn that other one, Chi.
Which one?
Frog.
Where?
That one over there.
I can't see, so I don't know where.
Oh, okay. Ow!
Oh, no.
I'm almost dead.
It just does
Yeah, watch
whatever
your
it
friendly
wants.
fire.
Ariel.
Arrow. Arrow.
Arrow.
How about land?
Oh! Arrow!
Tempest.
Tempest!
What are those things? Ew.
Ah, no! That's
Oh, turn Chi into one of them.
Those.
Arrow! Oh no, that's me. I'm it. I'm a thing. Look,
You
I'm
little
a
chicken.
Look, I'm an ugly chicken.
Arrow.
Oh, she's a chicken.
Arrow.
Hey, can you all aggro onto me, or you're just following Chi around?
She's
Get
not
'em.
a mother chicken. Ariel.
Get him.
Arrow.
Oh, I'm back to normal.
Yeah, once they teleported, or once they turned you, I guess they were just following you until you turned back.
Arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I have 26 health.
Are y'all back downstairs?
There's a scrying orb here. I can see Wambet.
Candle. Oh, I have candle again.
Here.
Oh, is this the way out?
No,
No.
players to
Area.
watch.
Oh.
Up dog.
It should be further this way.
Okay.
That was amazing. I was a weird, ugly chicken.
Yeah, I saw that.
We're going back
Tempest.
Nice. Tempest. Get the rest of it in there.
I think it was this way.
Ariel.
Arrow.
That's funny.
know peasants, I
Where
don't touch
is
doors.
Chi?
up. Right here. I'm behind you.
There's Chi. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. It did it by
There we
itself.
go. There's a
The
warp
crystal?
to extraction crystal.
Okay.
So we have 5 minutes to just fuck around. We've already beat quota.
Arrow.
Ariel.
We're gonna kill ourselves with our magic
Arrow.
before we even get close to.
Sorry, Red.
Oh, it's a mimic!
Where?
Oh,
Oh, don't let it touch you. Achoo.
Bless you.
Achoo. Piss yuck.
Back up.
Is there a sprint button?
Area.
Yeah, it's shift.
Okay.
I don't know what to do about the mimic. He's sitting on extraction now.
What
No,
a
that's fine.
What a jerk.
Well, I'm almost dead. I guess I could try to pull it away. Arrow.
Wait. What?
Rio.
Sorry.
Tempest.
I like how Reg is saying every word that's close to it and still making the spell go off.
Rio. Nope.
He's still there? Oh.
Ariel.
Tempest. Whee! Oh no, I fell down! No, 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 no!
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't get
I
me.
have. Oh, I cannot get one more hit. I have 2 health.
Wait, where'd he go? Did he disappear?
I don't know.
Where did Red and Stitch go?
I didn't see them.
Oh. I just heard Stitch.
I'm upstairs.
Oh.
Come upstairs instead of fucking with the mimic.
He's gone.
Red Stitch.
The mimic's not there anymore. He went away.
He's
Arrow.
in the middle area.
Oh, is he?
I hear Stitch.
Yeah, go upstairs instead of fucking around with the mimic.
I thought he
Extraction's
was.
up here.
I thought he was dead.
Oh, okay. I'm coming.
Extraction is that way.
Yeah, I have like 2 health left.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go hang out over there. I'm gonna go look around a little more.
I thought
Oh, take this, keep it safe.
Take what? Keep what safe?
Oh, take this, keep it safe.
Okay.
Grotesque wand.
Got the frog.
What?
Yay.
I don't like the way it looks in here. Oh, those are windows. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what those were at first, so it freaked me out.
It's okay. We got it. Yeah, there's the portal out. Okay, I think.
I can sneeze.
You can what?
I got the sneeze wand.
Oh, you got the sneeze one? Nice. So what are you thinking? 'Cause I think you're having a good time with it so far.
Yeah, I just wish I could see. I might have to turn my
No.
I think I have to turn on my brightness.
Yeah. Yeah, we would do that when we get back. Just turn it up. Whee! I can't wait to get that wand you got. Arrow.
Yeah, so
Up dog.
eventually we'll all get one, right?
Dog. Yeah, eventually we'll all have it too.
What is it taking them so long? What are they doing?
I have no clue. They're still breaking stuff. Yeah, it's super dark down here.
Yeah, it's really hard to see. Turning that brightness up doesn't work.
Oh, okay. They were able to kill the mimic.
Whoa, that's cool.
He said when there's 10 seconds till,
Wait, what am I doing?
that's when we need to
Why
start
am I
the
walking
extract.
like a peasant? Hit the crystal.
Peasant.
That you can just go all the way up to the top here when you hit the crystal.
No, guys,
Yeah.
get up here now. We're leaving.
Oh.
I'm running.
Now.
I'm coming! I'm coming! Why wouldn't you wait till we were all here?
Because you're going to kill us all if you're any slower.
Yeah, you don't want to know what happened.
Oh wait, I thought it was like shit. Was I out of the circle?
I didn't even know there was a clock. What do you mean?
Top left of your screen.
Well, I know
And
now.
repeated notifications that there's a certain amount of time left.
I never got a notification.
I mean, it just kind of goes
Dear
red for
Lord.
a second. Hey, there's a fire wand. Oh yeah, I got this a gem and a.
Ooh,
zippy
sell that gem
potion.
to the lady.
What about the zippy potion?
Put the frog down. He should give us $5. Okay. Now we can
Yay.
afford the wand of fire, and
I have
he
a
immediately
wand
picked it
of
up.
fire.
Yes,
Tempest.
we can.
Missed
Okay.
legs.
Do you want to keep the grotesque
Before he
wand?
sets the
Panda?
place on fire.
I have it.
What was it?
Oh, do you want to keep the grotesque wand, Chi?
I mean, unless
So
you
you can
want
sneeze
it.
and piss on things?
Ignis boom. Whoa,
I
shit.
mean, whoa.
That's a landmine.
Fuck, jump in the
Achoo!
lake. Holy shit.
Excuse me.
And
Ignis
then,
legs.
and then you can say piss yuck to spray piss, or dub piss yuck to double spray piss.
Dub piss
I
yuck.
think it,
It split the stream!
Okay, now Chi, look at me.
Tonguesy?
Yeah.
oh
Look
dear
at me.
lord.
Say fish yuck.
Fish yuck.
What's that? Ignis tongue.
You know, ride the fish.
Oh my god.
Ride them. Yeah.
I don't know what this one did.
Yeah, no, same for you. Yeah.
You sound fishy.
Well, I just have a high pitched voice as is.
Your voice goes like when we move really
What?
fast.
Oh.
Did you say Ignis balls?
I did. I don't know what Ignis tongue does though.
Let's keep talking.
Oh, oh!
Ah!
Ah!
Now try Ignis legs and then sprint.
Yo, yeah, I did that. Ignis legs. Yeah, bitches.
Fast as fuck, boy!
The fire wand is my favorite wand. Well,
Nice.
that's not true. My favorite wand is the wand of minor arcane.
What does that one do?
Okay, what does that one
Ignis
do?
ball.
You'll see when we get it.
Frog.
Okay, so that does share a cooldown.
It has Ignis balls has a long cooldown.
It's one. It's with the legs.
It also, hoodie, damages you and everyone around you when you use it.
Yeah, I noticed that. I thought I was crazy. Alright, Ignis boom. Ignis boom. Ignis boom.
I like how you whispered it.
Ignis tongue. Yeah, wait, that's so
Choose
funny,
the
guys.
slow one, yes.
Such a silly little, so silly,
Tempest.
such a silly little goose there. Oh my god.
So you level like Castle Crashers all over
He's just
again.
being puked on the whole time.
Ignis ball.
So, hoodie can absolute. Oh, by the way, hoodie, when you use the Ignis balls, look up.
Piss yuck.
Oh, during it.
Now whisper it this time.
Ignis ball. Oh, fuck me, is it long? Ignis tongue. Oh, dog. How dare you fucking piss on me, you son! Oh,
Oh, you could certainly whisper it because
Yeah.
it's just like right, ready.
It doesn't care how loud you say it. It just has to know what you're saying.
Oh, you blew me up in the air.
Ignis tongue.
Yeah,
What are we whispering about?
you're.
What are we
We're whispering
Oh,
about.
so hoodie,
What are we...
hoodie for the most damage out of that Ignis tongue, just scream.
Oh, wow, so it is. I thought
Hey,
it was
chill.
but...
No, so the louder you
Screaming our
are,
favorite
I
song.
yawned.
the louder you are. No, you sneezed on the frog.
Oh no! Damn.
Yeah, so the louder you are, the further it goes.
I'm sorry, Frog.
But if
I
you
didn't
stop
mean it.
talking, it stops spraying. So constant noise is the way to
All
use it.
better.
Oh,
Cool.
You're all better now.
So either just
other
scream.
frog. I'm gonna grab other frog.
Why
There
would
we
you
go.
do that to the shopkeeper?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Damn
we
it!
make
I just
out.
shot the frog.
Arrow.
Why would you do that?
That is your punishment.
Ignis tongue.
No. 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 No.
Up dog. Fireball! Wait, I don't have to pick this ball.
That piss yuck.
I gotta put him down and walk away. Or
Way to
accidentally
just
say something.
technically miss me. You know, that's how most guys piss off.
I know. Trust me.
What do you mean, you know?
What, the double
Why don't you stare
stream?
at that guy's piss?
Huh?
What do you mean you know? Why are you staring at that guy's pee?
Who do you think cleans all the toilets in this fucking house?
That's just called bad aim.
Getting dunked on live on Twitch.
Tell that motherfucker to sit when he pee.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Or just, you know,
Be
not
a man.
miss.
Sit when you piss.
Alright, up dog. Dog. Fireball. Arrow. Ignis ball. Ignis ball. Whew! I'm so high!
More like a
Wait, I
meteorite
haven't
crash.
done the up
Ow.
dog.
How did I still get hit from that?
Ooh, I fly.
Ignis boom.
Ow.
Oh dear lord.
Where'd Stitch go?
You don't
Yeah, where does
know.
Stitch go?
Stitch! What are you doing here? Oh, he's doing drugs.
Money.
He's
Help me
doing
sell this.
drugs.
We can...
Hold on, let me recount. I have 6 gold in my inventory. 8, 10, 12, 14, 16.
Now you're upstairs.
We have enough to get the Wand of Illusion. If we
Okay.
sell all these potion ingredients.
Okay, sell them.
Alright.
What? How do we do that?
Pick them up and take them to the
I didn't mean
shopkeeper.
to.
She's just bloom everywhere. I think.
I didn't mean to.
To sell whatever's in.
Grab. There we go. Grab
Read.
it. Wait. Grab. Wait. I'm coming.
You have a wand already. Take the Wand of Illusion.
Alright, Wand of Illusions.
Cool. Now you all get cool stuff. Waymat, go up to the book and see what you can do with that.
Ow.
Float Oculus.
What happened to the
Oh, wait,
feather?
that's pretty
I-
bad.
He controls the fucking eyeball.
Arrow.
Ignis boom.
Oh yeah. No.
Ignis boom.
So Waymat, you can fly that
Ow.
that float Oculus into enemies and then control them.
Oh, nice. Shrink Anna.
Oh my god, you're
Fuck
little!
Tempest.
And your voice is tiny!
Ah! It's just a giant meteorite.
You're so little!
Poof me.
Oh, Waymat's playing prop hunt now because he's got the Wand of Illusions.
No, I think about him.
Poof.
Welcome.
Echo me.
That's gross. The eyes on that was so gross. It's so...
Arrow.
Ignis tongue.
Oculus float.
Ow!
Oculus float. Oculus float. Is it not all the way up? Oh, float Oculus. I keep saying it
There you go.
backwards.
You.
No, I can't control Red. Just take a control of him.
Bye bye.
Poof.
Aww. We should go into another level, I feel. It's kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah, let's send it.
Boom.
I'll stick to Ignis tongue so it don't kill us. Oh, I didn't. Great,
Immediately kill someone.
Forgot.
Tempest.
Oh, wizard, I forgot.
Arrow.
Ah,
You're a wizard, Harry!
Ignis boom.
Arrow.
Whee! Apparently Harry sounds like Arrow. Whoops.
Night 2.
Here you go.
Arrow. Arrow.
Arrow.
Break shit.
Arrow.
Ignis tongue.
So Hoodie, you have to burn 6 things. That shouldn't be difficult.
Oh yeah. What else do we have to do?
Okay. Okay.
Destroy
So we
things.
just need to destroy things, and Hoodie needs to set things on fire.
I don't have to sneeze or pee on anything?
Nope.
No, he
You
does
can if you
sneeze
want.
on him.
If something's particularly scary, you can turn it into a fish,
Okay.
Oh,
and then we can throw it off the cliff.
Arrow.
Wait a minute.
What?
You just puked on me.
It's
Why am I
fishy
not
up, remember?
Shrink Anna.
Yeah, but why am I not holding both wands anymore? Can I not?
There we go.
Press F.
F.
Arrow.
Now grab the other one.
Oh,
you go.
there we go.
I like how my
Hoodie, burn
normal
this table.
vernacular sets off the arrow.
Hoodie, burn this
Speaking
table.
of which-
I'll get to it. Ignis tongue.
All right. Arrow.
I wish I could see.
Arrow.
I have the brightness turned all the way up and I still can't see. Why is there whistling?
There's your fucking eyeball.
There's a knight over here, I think. I hear clinking.
I don't like the
Shrink
spooky-
Anna.
I don't like the spooky white
Oh, there's a door
faces.
here.
Oh, it's not. I still have another 3 seconds. Arrow.
Oh yeah, you don't have to shrink anything that isn't gigantic.
Yeah, I got the big statue before.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it because the statue is like $100.
Here's the knight.
I guess 100 chaos.
Shrink
Turn into
Anna.
fish.
Fish yuck! I missed.
Arrow.
Ah!
Fish
Women threw it
yuck!
at me.
Sorry.
Fish yuck! Got him!
Watch out for that. Get out
Oh,
of its line of
God.
sight.
Dude, he's got me twice already. I'm at 40 out. Fuck.
Okay, we might want to run before the night turns back into it. No, never mind.
Fish yuck!
Arrow.
Oh, I have a cooldown.
Tempest.
Arrow.
No, let go of me, Tempest. Ow.
Ignis tongue.
Arrow.
Tempest.
Achoo!
Now hit the
Arrow.
paste yuck.
Fish yuck!
Oh, watch out.
Ah! I still have a cooldown on my fish.
Shrink Anna.
Ignis tongue.
Arrow.
Oh.
Arrow.
Fish yuck! Arrow. Tempest.
The ball on me.
Ignis tongue.
Help!
Float Oculus.
Yeah, get him, Red! You just
I
fucked
took
that
over
night up.
right as you killed him.
I can't see.
Ariel. What's it again? Ignis tongue. This might be its name.
Arrow.
Arrow.
Arrow. Arrow.
Arrow.
Ignis tongue.
Oh, 2 seconds.
Ariel.
Arrow.
Okay. Set that on fire.
Piss yuck. It's stained. I stained it
Burn
with pee.
literally one more thing. Arrow.
You can come burn this chest. There's a dresser over here you can burn.
The ring of fire. The ring of fire.
First.
No. Why? What would you find in there?
Oh, so it's fine. Cool, but I can't open it. That's weird. Ignis tongue.
You know, if you stop drinking a whole bottle of Fireball,
I like how you
wouldn't be
accidentally
choking
set
up
that
like
on
that.
fire.
I didn't set accidentally. I rammed it in there to set it on fire before I could get it.
Here we go.
Arrow.
You got a what?
Tempest.
He said. I thought he said he had a book. You got a what, Red? Red?
Why do I hear a slimy sound? Guys?
Red found a toilet.
Why is there a slimy noise up there?
Well, I don't know why there's a slimy noise up there.
Is there... Is it... Ow!
Damn it, sorry.
I went up those stairs and there was a slimy sound.
I hear it clanking like a knight.
Sorry, that's me. I'm trying to do shit.
Oh, maybe you were the slimy noise too. Hey, there's nothing up
No.
here.
No, that one shouldn't be me.
Shrink on a
Ignis tongue.
arrow.
Where did Stitch go?
I don't know, but it's really dark up here.
Oh, there's a place down here.
Hey, that's the
8
ward,
minutes
by the way,
until
Chief.
night ends. Say what? Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, there's a bridge down here too.
What's that?
What is that? I don't know.
Arrow. Piss yuck.
I said there was a bridge here too.
What is that?
Nope, okay. I don't know.
He's just a happy little guy, and
Oh,
I
shit.
cheat on him. What?
Monster coming up.
Oh.
Or not coming up. It was out. Now he is.
Ah!
Goblin.
Fish yuck! Got him!
Arrow.
Oh, who are we fighting? Who are we fighting? I'm here.
The
Tempest.
fish! It's a goblin.
Can you blast him over the side?
Ignis tongue.
Just start screaming like your favorite heavy metal band. Hey, Bex, how's it going?
Hi, Bex.
Yeah, where'd he go? Yeah, here we go. Anything on this? No. Okay, where'd he go?
I assume down.
Here we go.
Yeah, here he comes. All the way on this side, coming right for us. Trinkana. Oh, not close enough.
Ignis tongue.
There you go.
Did you get him?
Arrow. No, he's
Eyes
in
fucking
here.
off.
Oh, I thought you were burning the goblin.
Arrow.
No, I'm burning other shit.
Game's going good. Arrow.
Where's Stitch at?
I have no
I
clue.
wonder if Stitch died. Also, what is
Arrow.
going on with this wall right here?
Arrow. Arrow.
That's weird. Oh,
Wait,
you see
how-
that wall in that room glitching out?
I can't see anything. It's too dark.
Oh, you should turn your brightness up.
It's all the way up. I can't see shit.
I found the boss room.
There's a boss room?
I'm guessing. I don't know. It looks like a boss room to me.
Arrow.
I think she's found a pixie.
I just set a fairy
This
free.
is a revival room. If Stitch is dead.
Oh, okay.
Ah!
Alright.
Ow!
Okay.
I got an owie. Ow! Help! Eh.
Arrow.
Uh,
I can't get it. It's too high up.
the cat, please
Get what?
not now.
Up dog. Dog. Arrow.
Ignis,
Arrow.
Nice.
Ignis Tempest. Or
Up dog.
Ignis Tongue.
Piss yuck.
Up dog.
Oh, I can't get. There we go.
There you go.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Goblin.
Fish
Drink
yuck.
on him. Sorry, I was trying to get the thing.
Ignis Tongue.
There you go.
Wait,
Ow.
my game got all weird. My graphics got all weird.
the MIDI voice is just killing me.
Oh, did you make me little? Is that why it got weird?
Yes, I was trying to make the goblin small. You walked right in front of the goblin when you made it into
We should probably find the way out. We only have a couple minutes left.
Yeah, that's the question.
We never finished.
Oh, here's the crystal right here.
What does that mean?
Crystal. That's
Arrow.
Crystal to get out of here.
That's the warp to the end crystal, not the end.
Arrow.
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 That was the 4-minute notification, by the way, so you can't say that you didn't get the notification.
Oh no, I saw the 8-minute one earlier.
I think it was super station might be dead.
No, really?
Because Bex can hear us.
I'm waiting for them to come by or come over down on the bridge so I can yell.
Oh.
Okay, well, we're down here.
Oh, they're here already.
Where are we going?
You shall not pass! Hi, extraction is upstairs.
Yeah.
We thought you were dead. Ow!
Ow.
We're already way over quota. Let's just leave.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As a person that found like 8 ingredients.
Trinkana.
Let me tell you.
Fish yuck.
What?
You're a fish, Harry!
You're a fish, Harry.
All right. So instead
That's
of doing
route
the
2
final
left.
night, how about we all go inside real quick? Oh yeah,
Okay.
frogs. I forgot.
I'm in third person now. There we go. I just gotta click on the middle
Oh,
button.
gem from the frog. Thank you.
Yeah.
Minor
For this kind
arcane.
gift. That's my favorite wand.
Minor?
Gimme. There is no major.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
Yeah.
Wambat, you don't have any offensive capability in that wand. You should probably grab the telekinesis wand.
What happened to the one I had?
It's in your
It's in your
inventory.
inventory.
Oh, okay.
I also have a
And then you can
torch.
probably just drop the wind wand if you take the telekinesis wand.
Can I sell the torch? I don't really want the torch.
Trade complete.
I like
Yeah,
her.
just drop the wind wand.
Her
Yeah,
voice
she's
is,
the best.
Her voice is nice.
Very
Okay.
calming.
She's high.
Telefloat.
So that just picks up at, objects in front of you.
You think there's already
Oh,
like,
And
a
you can
bunch of weird...
teleblast to break things.
You think there's already a bunch of weird like
Teleblast.
hentai stuff with the shop lady online?
What did you say?
I
Gee,
hope
there's
so.
already
I said, do you
what?
think there's probably already a bunch of weird like hentai stuff with the shop lady online?
Yeah, Rule 34 stuff? Probably.
Well, if there isn't, there will be tonight, if you know what I'm saying.
Damn!
Oh, dear lord.
Oh,
Ah,
Oh, those fanfic forums are already going to have all that stuff together. Oh, I'm on fire.
Ignis
Wambat, walk
Yeah,
up
yeah.
to me,
Okay.
crouch,
boom.
look up, say teleblast.
Ignis boom.
Teleblast.
you know what? Is my new?
Holy crap. Oh, I
To the
launched it.
moon!
I got a new.
And then you ragdoll.
I got a new Twitch
My
point
house.
redeem
Ignis boom.
in my chat.
Telelock.
Oh?
Yeah.
Ooh, what is that? What's the
It
redeem?
can only be redeemed twice per stream. It's called Chat Uppies.
Oh, what does it do?
It gives chat
Ignis
uppies.
boom.
Oh, okay.
Give chat
Teleflip. Blast.
Ah!
I got it on top of the.
Ignis boom.
And then the second time,
Arrow.
there's another one.
I like
that's-
stuck there for a second.
The second,
I
the
must've-
second time it redeems,
internet
it
must've
spawns
pushed
one
it
on my
down.
head.
What? Chat is in your boobs.
Ignis
Yeah,
Chat is in your boobs. Hang on,
Chat
I gotta
up-
take a look.
boom. I want to
Chat
see cheese
uppies.
boobs.
you would. And then if somebody redeems it a second
Yay.
time, it puts another chat on my head. Chat
You know that's
uppies.
getting redeemed every single stream, right?
I hope so. That's what it's
Dear
for.
Lord.
Ignis boom.
Okay.
So, Wambat, What else do you think you can do with that wand?
Boom.
There's a telelock,
Fish
You
yuck.
bitch.
which I assume just locks you in place.
I physically cannot move for the next 5 seconds. And there's one more.
Shrink
Wayne.
R. Shrink Anna. Damn it.
I missed.
What? Oh no.
Oh, apparently you missed this Tempest.
Woohoo!
So, go up to the book.
Ow! Apparently, I thought I said a chew.
Teleport
That was fun.
Ignis boom. Ignis boom. Ignis boom. I've locked you out of the house.
Who? Anima?
This joke's
That's
on
true.
you. I'll
There's
just jump
one
on
you can
these.
just Take over something.
Oh.
Ow!
Next page.
There's that one. There's
That's
Ignis
Red's
balls.
Ignis balls.
Watch you. The voice to text in this game is terrible. It's so far it's like never right.
Area.
Arrow. Tempest.
Up dog. Dog.
Statues.
Yeah, and then
Ow.
I was turned away, but that I guess it wasn't good enough.
Hi, Chi.
Hello. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Looks Anna.
Oh, that's cute.
I
Oh, my-
have a
oh,
flashlight.
Wait, so cute.
And then looks Anna.
Oh, what happened?
He turns into a lantern also.
Oh,
What was that again? No.
wait, he's so adorable and so bright.
Float. No.
Looks Anna. He's back to being my flashlight.
Does he do anything offensive or no?
No, he's just a light.
Float.
That's cool. He's adorable. I love him.
Hoodie, come
Tail
here.
blast. Telelock.
He's just split. Oh,
Ha! You're stuck.
you're frozen. There's a big chain.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Way back, come here.
You're stuckies.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Ow.
Here now.
Grab Anna.
Well, that was.
Tail float.
That didn't do the thing. Grab
Tail
Anna.
blast.
Whee!
Ow.
Ow. That was fun.
Grab Anna.
Hi, Erie.
Oh, that's funny as shit.
Cheese fat
Grab on
mac
her.
and cheese. Yes.
Tail blast.
Why is chat between the booba? Because I got a new point redeem.
Grab Anna.
It can only be redeemed twice per stream.
What?
It'll put a chat either in my boobs or on my head.
Shrink Anna.
You said
So-
a chat and it did the sneeze.
I know.
the frog.
So if you
No, leave
redeemed
the frogs
it,
alone.
so if you redeemed it again right now, it would put another one on my head, and it stays for the
Teleport on,
whole
teleport
rest of
blast.
stream. Whee!
Whoa. Ah.
Ow!
Okay, so instead of starting another night,
Achoo!
go outside and come downstairs.
Okay. Okay. Ow.
Leave the frogs
Yeah, I'm
alone.
back. Hi, lady. Oh no! I didn't mean to! No! I
Shrink
have regret!
You miss.
No, another 21 seconds. That's Jim.
Come here. Everyone get in bed.
Oh, I'm gonna snuggle! Wait, that wasn't snuggling. What did I just greet you?
What's happening?
Spooning.
We're going to see our boss.
Whoa!
Oh, we're just gonna go ahead and skip the last night.
I
Yes,
assume this is Dad. What's up, Dad?
This is Dad.
because
What?
we got 5 times the quota.
Why am I in third?
Killing it.
We are always in third person in this area.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you hit the middle mouse button.
No, it does not work here.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say in the normal
Dad,
stuff.
we want uppies.
Whoa, we got a bunch of gold.
And we got even more gold because we can, yeah. Everyone, y'all, go check out the basement.
What about my Ignis feet?
Did we get a house upgrade?
Yes, go check out the basement. Or actually, Chi, come here.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be peasants.
Oh, is there a secret way? Oh my god, it's like Minecraft.
What took you so long?
Teleblast. Sorry, I was trying to go after Red.
Whoa.
You're an ass.
So this is where you can make potions. That book over there will tell you recipes.
Whoa, that's cool.
There should be 3 stamina
Teleblast.
boost and 3... Wamba, can you stop breaking our alchemy lab?
Our everything?
Sorry.
There should be
Sorry,
laying
I'll
around.
stop.
There should be laying around 3 stamina boost and 3 health boost potions. You each take 1. They're permanent.
Okay, there's a health boost,
Drink it.
and then there's the stamina boost.
Ooh.
Okay, there's the stamina boost. And there's the health boost. And then dropping the empty bottles. Okay, done.
Oh shit.
Where's...
Oh.
Ooh, there's revive potions. 2 phoenixes. I assume those are phoenix feathers. Some type of heart thingy.
Q.
Luxana.
Lurk, thanks for the lurky, Eerie.
So there is a basilisk cart right
I'm
here.
sorry!
What do we look for?
There is a basilisk cart right here.
I
Okay.
have it.
You were reading off ingredients and you were like, you don't...
Yes.
You were wondering whether we had it.
Oh, you want to go for the zippy potion?
The zippy potion?
Well, that's the that's the one right there that takes the basilisk heart. Which potion? do you
Revive.
Revive potion.
want? Oh, I don't see that. Hold on. Is it per person?
No.
Oh, it just did an update. Okay, that was weird. Oh, that's so weird.
So
Okay.
two phoenix feathers.
Whoa, 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 hold
basilisk
on.
heart.
I don't know if it has to be in order.
I
Oh.
think I was gonna wait anyway.
Okay.
Was it...
So
Put in a
phoenix
phoenix
feather,
feather.
then bas.
Wambet, put in a phoenix feather. Put in the basilisk cart. Wambet, put in that pearl next to you. And then second phoenix feather.
Oh, over here. I see it.
Now, Chi, begin the brewing.
Okay. Stinky. Whoa!
Yay!
Congratulations, we've made 3 revive potions. Grab an empty bottle and fill them up.
Oh, okay, cool.
How do I
Did
fill
you grab
up?
it?
There was
Says-
only, I think it said it only made 3. I got 1.
Oh, did you get 3?
Wambet, did Wambet take 2?
Way back took 2.
No, I have an empty bottle.
I think it only made 1.
It made 3.
Oh, they're all gone.
I have 1.
Oh, okay.
It says I can't.
No, get that out of there.
Well, I don't know what happened, but we have at least 1. So
Oh no!
Well, alright,
let's.
I guess.
Does it have to be a certain kind of bottle? Oh,
Nope.
no, because it was gonna let you start a new brew. So.
Just any empty bottle. We'll do it.
Well,
Any other
it didn't-
potions we can make right now?
There's a nerd potion right here. What's the nerd potion do?
I don't know, drink it.
How I? Oh.
There's a mystery egg and a phoenix
No.
feather.
Okay, I'll drink it.
What is this? Oh, it's
What did it do, Wambet?
Nerd.
Nerd! Nerd!
Nerd. Bully him.
Nerd.
Bully him. Nerd.
Grab on it.
Bully the nerd.
Grab on it.
Look at myself.
It just made your voice silly.
Like a nerd.
It's
Grab
just
on it.
voice. It's just.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
That worked.
Yeah.
it just gave you a silly voice, that's it.
Oh, okay.
Achoo!
Once I realized what the potion was
Wrong
gonna do,
one.
I was like, you know what? I
Ow.
should give it to Wombat.
Grab Anna.
Oh.
Oh no, I didn't mean to.
Oh, also,
Drink Anna.
y'all took the.
Good block.
Why would you make his bellows small? That's fuck. Why would you break the bellows?
You jerk! Why would you break it?
It doesn't
I
do
didn't-
anything. It doesn't do
All right,
anything. I
now,
tried.
now you two peasants who took the stairs, I'm gonna show you.
Oop.
Oh, that's what that was for. Oh.
It's my friend.
There it goes.
Yeah, we're back, lady.
I now serenade you guys with Black Sabbath.
That doesn't sound like Black
I-
Sabbath.
Yeah, I don't think I even know one
Shrink
Black
Anna.
Sabbath song.
Wait, did my bonk not
Nope,
work?
that didn't work.
Fucking mine.
Swap.
Oh,
Stitch, did
What
my
this is not
bonk
my penis.
not
Oh.
work when you redeemed it?
Telefloat.
Nope.
Oh, what the hell?
Teleblast.
Swap. I'm like, this is not my penis. It's
not your
why is it
what?
bigger now?
The
Anna
what?
Portelli. Oh, there's no basement to take you to.
Yeah, close some things.
Stitch just gonna take
All
me to
right.
the basement. What?
Sometimes when you use it, you just get taken to the fucking back rooms.
Oh, that would've been awesome.
Oh, there you go.
Backrooms, aka Stitch's sex dungeon.
Ignis Ball.
Whoa!
Ignis Tongue.
Piss yuck.
Okay, hit G to review our
Teleblast.
contracts for the day.
I can't. I'm dead.
Now piss on him. He's telling me.
Oh, that actually has
Shrink
knockback on.
Now piss on him.
So Chi has to recharge the piss, unfortunately.
Made my contract more like
Anyone got any water?
contract now.
Teleblast.
Ow.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Swap.
Damn it.
Hit G.
I can't.
Oh yeah.
Broke it. It struck the contract, so it was like really impossible to read.
Phil can. What is that?
All right, G
Containers
has to
with
piss in some pots.
Pots?
Yeah,
Tempest
any like
monsters.
pots or urns or anything, piss on them until
Okay.
they're full,
Okay.
Until the full.
Destroy things.
and then
Drink a
destroy
lot
things,
of
and then use
water,
Tempest on monsters. Yeah, make sure you drink a lot of water before we go.
Wait, okay.
Hell yeah.
Hydrate, everybody!
Everybody hydrate.
I got tea. Will that
Hang on.
work?
Yeah, that counts.
I
Tea
got
makes me pee.
the Beepus.
Bye, Wimmet.
I'm right here.
There we go.
Boom! Ow!
Bye, Wimmet. Where did he go?
I have no idea.
He went to the moon.
Oh my
Bye.
gosh.
Oh,
Stitch
I
is-
think I'm lagging.
Stitch is walking, but he wasn't going anywhere. Oh no! It broke!
I think my magic spell killed Wambat.
Your explosion completely sent all of us to the main menu.
you exploded us into oblivion. You crashed my game! Oh, Wimbat crashed. That was funny.
I am too powerful.
Dang! Does that mean we have to start all over?
No.
Fuck. No.
As long as Wambat's the one that initiates again? we
Wimmet
don't-
just has to host again and choose the
Yeah.
same save.
Okay.
Oh fuck.
That's cool.
I sent Wambat to the Shadow Realm.
You really sent him to the fucking back rooms. Holy.
Blasted him away.
It wasn't even like meant for Wambat. It was just whoever I could push onto the bomb.
All right, I hit everybody. As soon as it hit me up there to change, it crashed my game.
Oh man.
Yeah. Where's Red?
Right.
Hey, you were having too much fun. You crashed my game doing that.
Really, I did. I sent you to the Shadow Realm, bitch.
Sent him away.
I don't see Stidge
So
yet.
did everyone
so
get
let
an
me-
invite but me?
Let me re-invite him.
I think he didn't get the invite.
Yeah, hitting for the re-invite.
There's a mushroom. What does stash mean?
There we go.
Hello, I'm here.
Stash puts it into our.
We had too much fun.
You should do
Clearly.
I found a
Oh, I
mushroom.
gotta change robe colors.
that. My potion gone.
Ooh, purple.
You said your potion's gone?
Yeah, do my fucking revival potion.
We might have to go back and do it again. It might not have saved since then.
It only
Ooh.
saves one at the start of the day.
So we have to do the potion stuff all over again.
Yes. Maybe this time it won't
Oh
bug
yeah,
out.
the portal's not on. Now it's on.
Yes, it is.
It is now.
Damn, what took you
Yeah, I
so long,
know.
bet?
Tough one. Yeah,
And-
whatever.
Yeah, maybe this time it won't bug out. What's happening?
Alright,
Please put away your wand.
Wait, y'all.
Put away your wand in the alchemy lab, please.
All right, so we need a phoenix feather, a basilisk
Phoenix feather,
heart.
basilisk heart, pearl, phoenix feather.
Yeah. Where's the basilisk heart? Basilisk heart. Where's the pearl?
And it changed our contract.
Dang it.
Anybody see pearl?
She still has to piss on things, though.
Pearls. Anybody
Uh,
see pearls?
Well, I'm sure they would have been right here had that tempest not happened.
Mm,
Well,
I see coral. Huh.
Well,
Uh-oh.
drink your potions.
I did a bad thing.
It's okay.
I accidentally drank 2 health potions.
well, she's
That's
healthy.
fucked up.
Sorry. Should we crash the game
Well, I
again?
guess I'll just drink these 2 stamina potions then.
Let me
Looks
send way back
Vita.
to the Shadow Realm.
What? don't send me to the Shadow Realm again. Did you get a stamina potion, Red?
Adios. It didn't work. I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, next time around, I get 2 health potions, she gets 2 stamina potions.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
No, it's okay.
Oh, Stitch, you got that stat one now.
Custodia.
Yeah.
Get protected, nerd.
Is that what Custodia? I don't think my Custodia did that when I was playing by myself.
Mercy.
Okay, oh well.
Oh yeah, what did Mercy do? I didn't know
Hold
it
on.
was a thing before I tried Mercy.
Hold on. Mercy. Oh, you're too far now.
Merci.
Hold on, I have to be up in the
S'il vous
air.
plaît.
Now that I think about it. Up dog. Merci. Merci.
Trinkana.
Dang it.
Oh.
Oh, maybe you have to be up in the air. Basically what it does, it's literally Mercy Overwatch.
No,
You just dash to them, float in the air, and heal them. Mercy. No. The doorway blocked it. Whatever, it's fine.
Maybe it also could be because we're all full health. Does that matter?
That also could be
yeah.
it. Custodia.
Okay.
Get protected, nerd.
Whoa. Well, thank you. Yeah, hit it up.
I'm not
Oh.
doing any spells.
We gotta steal coins?
Yep.
I don't have to pee on anything anymore?
Yes, you do.
Aw. Oh, I
You
do?
most certainly.
Am I still peeing on pots?
Jeez.
Peeing in pots, yes.
Oh, I'm still
You
doing
have a
it.
pot to piss in, yes.
I'm still doing
5
that?
pots to piss in.
Piss in a
Dang.
pot. Go, Chief.
Do it.
Yeah, piss in 5
Piss
pots.
yuck.
Fill her up.
Is it
A
working?
little lower.
Lower.
The lower.
You gotta aim better. Jesus, I think it's.
Dear God, Chi.
You gotta do
I don't know how to do this.
Hit the pot with the P. You don't have to go in the top, just hit the pot.
Oh, I just have to hit the pot. Oh.
God, it was,
That's what I was doing
It
at-
said it was Babe pissing everywhere. I think it was Chi pissing everywhere.
I sit down. What do you mean?
Yeah, all the cleaning up. The
Clearly,
place in
there's a reason for that. You don't know how to aim.
Oh, stop it.
the house.
I don't.
Whoa.
I don't have a boy
Oh, yeah.
penis. I have a girl
Ignis
penis.
tongue. What? Tell me about that.
As he's throwing it up.
Sorry, I had to burn
Piss
shit.
yuck.
Oh, it's overflowing.
I hear it.
Grab on it.
Ah, why would you do that? That's so disgusting.
There was a gem in that one.
All right, how many do I have to do?
Teleblast.
Ignis.
3 more.
Whoa.
Okay.
There's one here. And one here.
Where?
This counts right here, and this urn back here counts.
Okay. Piss yuck.
Teleblast.
Ignis tongue.
That's full.
Look, Chi, we're pissing together. Mine burns. My piss burns.
But he has gonorrhea.
Okay.
All right, I just need one more now.
There we go.
Grab on him.
Ew.
What did you say that hoodie has?
Gonorrhea.
Oh.
Oh, what is a fire? What is it? What's the word? Burn.
Grab on him. What?
Oh dear Lord. Okay. Let's
What
see
is
here.
this?
Oh,
grab on
I
it.
That's not
found.
wait. Dang it, 1 second, guys.
Oh, I broke
I
it.
mean, only candle?
There we go. Now I can see it.
No, burn. Just if you burn it
To
to death, it counts.
Teleblast.
But maybe not boxes.
Arrow.
Grab on him.
Hopefully.
Sorry. Don't hurt me.
Yeah, fuck your stuff.
I love you.
Luxana.
Oh.
Lux Vita.
Oh.
Yay.
It healed me.
You're so sparkly.
Well,
Wait, there's a
Teleport
red.
on her.
You have a red one too? Whoa. Ow.
Hey, you want to see if there's a basement?
Okay.
On a Portelli. There's not.
Oh.
Swap.
Whoa!
Thanks for walking up the stairs for me.
You're welcome.
Blink.
Arrow.
Teleport Anna.
Ah! I fell down. I
Come
just
over here
walked,
to this wall.
I walked all the way up there.
Teleport Anna.
Whee. Oh. Well, I didn't know what was happening.
Teleport Anna. Blink.
Piss yuck.
I don't think those count.
Is that? I couldn't tell what it was. I just saw it was round,
Looks
so
on it.
I thought it was a pot.
It's a bowl.
Oh,
It doesn't count.
sad.
Luxana.
Arrow.
Grab Anna.
I can't see. It's dark.
Luxana. Does that help?
Yeah. Arrow. I missed. Arrow. Got him.
Grab Anna. Watch out.
Oh. Ow.
Luxana. Grab Anna. Watch out.
Oh!
Hey, look, stuff to piss on.
Yay! Piss yuck. Ah! Ah!
Oh, it's a mimic. Oh, it's a mimic. Swap.
Ah! Ah!
Run, run. Teleport Anna. We're fine.
Ah! Ah!
That was a mimic.
Oh my god, scared the shit out of me! What the
The
fuck?
mimic did not like you pissing on it.
No, it got super angry! guess he doesn't get turned on by pee stuff.
Very much not into water sports.
No, oh my god. There was another pot in there though that I could have peed in.
Oh well.
Wow, I didn't take any fall damage for that. That's crazy.
There's two in here in this room.
Alright, cool.
Oh, hey.
Oh, damn it! I sneezed by accident.
There's another one over here. Hold on. Looks Anna.
Oh. Piss yuck.
Lower. Hit it directly. There you go.
Yeah.
Ah.
Sorry.
What piss?
Pee pee, wee wee.
Chi, come here.
Yeah.
Teleblast.
It
Teleblast.
lied. There is a basement.
Well, there wasn't in that section. Let's go.
Arrow.
Luxana.
Arrow.
Come on down, Chi.
Coming. I was breaking. Why is there arms? Why is there hands in there?
What? Well, go say hi to friend.
No! Fuck that
No,
guy.
I promise you it's friend.
No, it's not.
He won't hurt you, I promise.
I don't believe you! I don't
Blink.
believe you! No, it's dark! It's dark! Stitch? Stitch is dead! How did Stitch die? And I'm all alone and it's dark and I don't know what's happening! I'm scared. Stitch! Why did you do this? I can't see. It's dark. I'm trapped. I don't know what to do. Help!
Chi, are my wands on the ground on your end?
Yeah.
Please take them.
Okay.
Pick up the purple one and then say looks Anna.
I'm trying.
Hey, you're
Something's
stuck.
running.
Blah, 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 blah,
Luxana.
Ah! So, did Stitch die?
Yes, I need help. Don't leave me.
What's up?
He left me alone. I'm scared.
Oh, that seems silly, but...
Is my astral wand also laying on the ground?
I got them both.
No, they had 3 wands.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
it's on the ground.
My
Grab it,
inventory's full
please.
though.
Oh shit.
Someone, anyone grab it, please.
Oh wait, I still might want to win. Hold on, let me...
Thank you.
I don't know if I can get you out of here, Stitch.
It's, you can teleport on him, bodies up.
Telelock.
Oh,
Teleblast.
Oh.
Chi, stand on
we're
my body
fine.
and say teleport Anna.
Where we go?
Teleport Anna. It didn't work.
Maybe don't stand directly under the open
We
trapdoor
got
when
the
you teleport
chickens over
upwards.
here. Where we going?
Hold on.
Ah!
Teleblast.
Hey, buddy. Oh, he just chills. Don't worry about him. Teleport Anna.
Oh.
What? Okay, there's Chi.
Oh my god, you should have fucking seen so much damage! What the
How do I get up the ladder? Oh, there we go.
Going up.
Ugh. Ugh. Oh.
Are you going up the other side of it?
Revive spot, really. I think it's something.
Arrow! Arrow!
Teleblast.
Ah, shit, I gotta turn into one of the chickens.
I know.
I'm really dying to you. Where do we go? Get away from me.
He went that way. I need... There we go.
We'll walk on that. And then we'll fall in. And where's... Yeah, where's Stitch's body? I
Luxana.
I got chicken. Oh, there's Stitch's body.
He's right there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of hoping to find a revive. he not explode? Is he
Fuck.
dead?
Fish
There's
yuck.
a thing up here.
Oh no, I missed! I'm sorry! I was trying to aim for the goblin. Piss yuck.
Follow me, guys.
We gotta.
It's up this way.
Red's a fish!
Nah, he can flop his way up the stairs. Come on, flop your way up the stairs.
There you go.
Find the revive.
The teleportation crystal's up here. It looks like.
He's looking for the revive spot
Oh,
to revive Stitch.
where's the way out? Where's the
arrow? Oh, I have
telefloat?
the wrong.
Teleblast.
Guys, right.
Telefloat.
Chi, while you are holding that purple wand, you can look at something, say
Tell
grab
blast.
on. Oh, Hoodie's dead.
Oh no, what happened?
Telefloat.
Where do I put him?
Teleblast. I don't know.
How did Hoodie die?
Teleblast. I don't know how he died.
Okay.
Red's dead.
Yeah, we should probably just leave. We only have 3 minutes anyway.
Okay.
Ah! Ah!
I don't know this. I don't know if this made it better or worse. Telelock.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
There's another telecrystal down here. Hit it and let's find out.
In the interest of
Oh, this
not
just,
losing
this
all
just
of my
might
wands,
Go back and forth.
look for the purple
Oh,
flames in the
crap.
sky.
Okay.
Purple flames in the sky.
So we need to find. Yeah, we got to find the one.
If
that
they're not
has
here,
the
take the
damn,
teleporter.
Like
Take it.
tower piece on it. You want to hit it? Okay. Okay, and then the other one was back up. You got 2 minutes. Crap. Telelock. Telelock. You look out the door here first. It's here, Chi.
Oh, okay.
It's at least the way out. We're probably going to take a penalty with them both dead. How do we start it up?
I don't know.
Ah, here it is.
Yeah, there you go. Ah.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, fun.
Gotcha.
Totes. That was totes fun.
The wand you picked up from me could have revived me immediately.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Hey,
you
Al.
hold it and you say corpus anima. Hey, what's up,
Wow.
Alsanna? Can we get
Hi,
Alsanna in on this too?
Hi, Alsanna.
Is it 4-player max or 6-player max?
I think it's 5.
Alright, I'm purchasing a new
Alsanna, do you have
fire
time to
wand.
join?
I think it's
Gee, can I have my
5.
wands back?
Yes.
Okay. Stitch, can I have one of your wands so I have two?
Oh,
you have a
Allison
fire
just got home from work.
But you have 3 wands, I thought, so it's just...
Okay, so you can have the blessed wand for healing capabilities then.
Yeah, that
Gee, can I
actually
have my?
works.
Oh wait, who has my astral wand?
I all I have is the 2.
Red.
Oh.
Hoodie had my astral wand when he died, and you didn't res
No,
him.
I had my own astral wand, I found one.
Yeah, it's in your hand, isn't it?
No, that's the arcanes.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah, you picked it up when Stitch died.
Nope. I had
Where are
my
the
own
frogs?
astral wand.
But you also picked up Stygia's, didn't you, when he died?
No,
Because my inventory was full.
Oh, the astral one. You know, I did pick up the astral.
Yeah,
one.
you picked up my astral wand, and then she killed you.
And then she killed me, right?
How did I kill him?
I was
don't know.
walking up the stairs and you cast a spell and it just fucked me up.
What?
Grab Anna.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember casting a spell. Like there was.
We've
I
already
just saw
already
that.
No,
got
I
the
mean-
quota, so we just want to.
No, I mean there was like no animation or anything that I casted a spell.
I know you turned slightly to the right, and Hoodie fell over dead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was so confused.
Al, did you want to join us? Oh, you opened up the game. I didn't notice.
I mean, the game is in early access still, right? So.
No,
Oh, I thought
No,
it was.
it's fully out.
it's out.
Oh, there's a lot of glitches.
But well, how I died is I used the astral wand to blink forward, and it blinked me through a wall, and I fell out of the map.
Oh. See, I was fully thinking that the guy in
It's
the.
Alsanna!
There he is.
Alsanna time.
Nice job.
Oh my God, Alsanna's
Here,
here.
that was just like whispered into my ears.
Oh, I got
Here, I know how it goes.
What's
Give me a sec.
up? Alsanna's white robes. Wambat, you
Here, I switched to white robes. You can go to your purple.
Oh yeah, Alsanna, you can have purple if you want.
Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna argue.
Hell yeah.
I know it's
I
your
like how
favorite
your
color.
hat
So.
lights up when you're talking.
Whoa.
Does it?
Oh,
Oh, nice.
I do. Okay, we've already met quota. Let's just eat.
Okay.
Dang, there's so much of us.
I'm coming. One sec.
Many mo-
I
Needs
was
some-
doing stream things. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, I'm still here. Hi,
Dad!
That's
Dad,
scary,
we need a
man.
quota, Dad.
Up, dog.
Cosmo, thank you for the tier 1 sub.
Dad,
Alsanna.
give me a hug.
Oh, Alsanna, I gotta teach you the crazy
Custodia.
spell I learned.
Shrink on a.
Enormous erectus.
I can't shrink Dad's hand.
Whoa.
She's talking to the cat.
Meow. Meow.
Gross.
What?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't even roll my R's unless I really have to force myself.
So here we're seeing who is actually into pet play.
Hey, yo.
It's hard for me to do it.
What I
Enormous
come back to?
erectus.
Wambat's clearly not. Chi and Hoodie are good at it.
I mean, I'm a bunny anime girl on the internet. What?
Exactly.
Also, when I was
Come
a
on.
kid, I used to pretend to be a cat.
Alsanna, do you want the Healy wand?
Yeah, I'll take the healing one.
I just want a god woman to do
Thanks,
horrible
buddy.
things to me.
Wait, are we supposed
You
to
want
go?
what?
Are we supposed to go drink
What?
potions now?
We can make potions now if we want, but
Is that what
we
you
can
want
also
the
just
goblin
send
to
it
do? You
and
do you?
go
But
on
I-
another level.
But I remember
Do we have the
accidentally.
ingredients to make more?
Enormous
Oh, is there not more
erectus.
potions now?
They don't.
Shrink
They don't
on it.
like just spawn new potions.
Oh, only the first time.
Sorry,
Stitch.
I was just blowing a hoodie around.
Okay.
Stop blowing Hoodie.
Oh,
We're on Twitch.
that's inappropriate.
That's good. I said
Yes.
around, not
Same.
actually just straight up.
Yeah, this ain't OnlyFans.
Grab Anna.
Oh,
Ow.
Okay.
Hey,
Hoodie.
Cosma.
Hoodie, your job?
mercy.
Burn books.
Whoa, you flew.
Yeah, I'll see if that works
Chi,
this time.
Chi. Your job?
Yeah.
Turn monsters into fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mercy.
Books. Oh, books! I can burn books.
Custodia.
I am protecting.
Let's check.
Sue, Sue, Sue.
Oh
No,
God.
I don't know. It's in... He's in
Alsanna is a
snot.
green blob.
Oh, I
Oh.
was.
Hoodie.
He was.
Echo me.
Once she has turned the enemies into a fish, blast them with your tongue.
He's dancing.
Blah,
Hey,
blah, blah, blah.
yo.
Stitch. No shit.
Arrow.
Tell Locke.
Tempest.
Tempest. Arrow.
Just write it.
There we go.
Oh shit.
Ow! I blown up!
Remember,
Oh
last time that
no!
happened,
Oh
I crashed my
no!
game.
It's gonna crash again! We're gonna be screwed!
Nah, it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Spire of Lost Souls.
That sounds
you're all on the
scary.
ground. Get up.
off the floor.
There we go.
I was
Look on
tired.
Here we go.
Yeah, I was eating.
Arrow.
Arrow. What?
Ow,
Arrow.
took
Sorry.
damage.
Sorry.
Arrow.
It's okay.
It's indestructible. Jesus.
We had to tag team that barrel.
Arrow. I run.
Okay.
It's just like the first map we went to, right?
Kinda. It's procedurally generated.
Wait, it's dark in there. I can't go in there.
Arrow.
Actually, you'll like it up here then.
Okay.
I can't see.
Ooh, the floor's pretty.
Open gate.
Look up in the ceiling, Chi.
Whoa, the ceiling's pretty. Arrow.
Fuck, you don't want to burn.
Arrow.
Okay.
Which is not doing.
It's so dark. Teleblast.
Piss
No
yuck.
one's any books.
I almost dropped down a hole.
Boing.
Anyone got any knowledge?
I don't know, I just peed on a couch.
What you got? What is that? What the fuck is that? What are you? Oh, that is.
Oh, that looks dangerous.
Oh. Ow. My bones.
Bones?
Lux Vita.
Luxana.
Oh shit.
Eyeball.
Oh,
Tempest.
can I turn it into a fish?
Oh shit.
No.
Hypothetically?
It doesn't work on the eyeball.
Oh,
Tempest.
I don't like
Oh,
that
he's
guy
gone.
then.
Never mind.
That
You just
guy's
have to
a-
hide from him.
Has
That
anyone
guy's
been
a
downstairs
jerk.
yet?
Luxana. I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, yes, we have been downstairs apparently.
That was where we started. We came upstairs.
This is where we started, yes.
We haven't been.
Arrow.
We haven't been
Look,
more
Arrow. Oh,
downstairs.
these are all broken.
Last time we went down a room like that, we got
Looks
stuck.
on.
Yeah, this place is all clear. I keep looking over at my other screen as though my stream is currently up and I can actually see. Hang on, let me boost
on.
my brightness a little bit.
Oh yeah, Alsanna was using his stream to be able to see anything yesterday.
I couldn't see a fucking thing otherwise.
Dude, I can't either. I have the brightness all the way up and I still can't see anything.
Chi, do you want the flashlight wand?
It's okay. I'll just follow you around.
Okay.
That way I don't have to be alone too.
2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't want to go more downstairs?
We already did, there was nothing.
Oh. I thought there was more spirally stairs.
There's more uppies.
Uppies!
Or not.
Oh.
There's even more uppies.
Pretend uppies! I found a roof.
Ooh, we on the woof. Watch out for gargoyles.
Gargoyles? Over there?
Yeah.
There's an eyeball over there, see him?
Don't worry about him. He's not gonna hurt us. He can't see us. The gargoyles, on the other hand, they freak me out. On a portelli.
Whee! So now what?
Luxana.
I don't
We're
like
gonna go
that
this way.
scary white face on the wall.
That's a tapestry to burn.
Where did everybody go? Oh no! That's not what I
What?
said, you stupid wand! Man, they need to fix the
You
voice.
said everybody go, and I thought you said arrow.
Yes.
Honestly, I think it's part of the charm that the wand just does what it wants.
Yeah, it is kind of. Until you accidentally kill everybody.
That's hilarious, though.
Unless you're me and you don't like to be alone.
I hear a knight.
Ignis Tom.
I hear red.
Hop down.
Lux Vita.
I'll go with you. Looks
Alright,
on
I
it.
got the frog.
Oh.
Don't walk
Oh,
near that guy.
never mind. Climb back out.
Got him.
Looks on it.
Oh, did you get him?
Grab Anna. Oh, that wasn't a thing. It's already broken. Anna Portelli. So you can hide in these, by the way.
We're playing World of Warcraft again.
Oh, I got a peephole.
She is hidden.
I am in disguise. I'm one with the cat. Oh, I see you. I'm one with the cabinet.
Hello. Going out.
Oh yeah. Hey, by the way, Stitch, these burn quests don't want to work with my wand abilities,
Sweet, sweet. Love that.
and I already had a
Grab
book
on
that
it.
didn't. I had a book that didn't want to catch on fire already, so shit has not been going well for that quest.
That's fine. We don't need it. Looks on it. Gee, where'd you go?
Over here. We're going this way. Arrow.
Tempest.
Piano.
Hoodie, you want to burn the piano?
I tried. It took a lot of HP. Let me try again.
You want me to piano it first? Will that make it more flammable? Yeah.
Boom, 100.
There's an
Those
eyeball
paintings
on the
wall you can burn?
Yeah, they didn't want to burn either.
There's an eyeball on the wall.
Abonchum.
Blah.
Abonchum. Amonchum.
Blah.
Say Amonchum.
Chum?
Amonchum.
Chum.
Too late. He's too slow.
You are now
Come on,
one.
Chi.
You are now one of them. An ugly. You are now an ugly chicken. What?
Hell yeah. Oh, shit. Custodia.
Grab Anna.
Tempest.
Okay, fine, I guess. Damn.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
How'd you get
Must
up
be
way back
Tempest.
there?
Echo me.
Tempest.
Oh.
There we go.
Lock him.
Ow!
Dude.
Stop locking me in place, jerk.
Ah! Ah!
Lux Vita.
Why is he dancing? Oh. Fish yuck.
Somebody lock this
Tell
kid.
lock.
Fish yuck.
Ignis
Wait on my wand.
Leave.
Ignis Tom.
Well, kind of leave, but then you do need to turn him into,
There we go. I'm trying.
Shrink Anna.
Jesus.
He's still alive.
beat his ass.
Ignis boom.
He's so tiny.
Ignis Tom.
Fish yuck.
Custodia.
Yes, you turned him into a fish.
It's a
Ooh.
fish.
Hold on. Hold on.
Ooh.
Come here.
Mercy.
Oh god, too slow.
Oh.
Somebody lock it so I can put bombs on him.
Tell lock.
Ooh,
place.
good grab.
Ignis boom.
Lux
Ignis
Vita.
boom. Alright, Ignis Tom.
Mercy.
Got him.
He's dead.
Mercy.
Nice.
There we go. Team
Mercy.
makes the dream work.
Lux Vita.
Whoa.
All right. I think we
Telekinesis
broke everything
targets
in this
here.
room.
Ignis
Yeah.
Huh?
I think we destroyed everything in this room. Ah, why are you throwing up on us?
Right here.
Fucking painting. It's my job.
Wait a minute, you can break these with teleblast.
Oh,
Yeah,
it-
yeah,
It went
tell-
through the.
Telefloat.
Cheat.
Teleblast.
Please.
You don't have to float it first.
What?
And sometimes it works better that way.
Grab Anna. Grab Anna.
Ow! I blowed up.
Nice job.
Why is there bombs?
What?
Where'd everybody go? I'm alone.
Don't come at me.
Custodia.
Hey, you should break.
I mean, Tempest.
Teleblast.
What again?
I
I
got blown up.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, don't do that.
Teleblast.
Vita.
There was bombs.
Grab Anna.
There you go.
I don't know where red
Well, if
went.
there's bombs, that means red
Right
blew
there.
you up.
No.
No. There's goblins that throw bombs.
Yeah, it was like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like.
I pushed it.
Did you fuck him up?
No, he ran away, but I put bombs, so if he comes
Frog.
back, I'll blow up.
Teleblast.
Oh, okay.
Oh, ow.
Sorry.
Hey, is someone...
Teleblast.
Oh, fuck off, man. Can someone run on trade wands? I can't scream anymore.
What? You don't want to scream anymore?
Ow!
throat is in a lot of pain right now.
Yeah.
Grab Anna.
There you go. Just cry. You got it.
Just cry. 4 minutes.
That's gonna be a sustained sound.
What are you doing?
What is he never? It's red. He's probably doing what you think he's doing. Looks
Clapping, yeah.
What are you laughing about?
Hey, Chi, you still need to turn monsters into fish.
Oh, I haven't seen any more monsters.
Exfil's over this way.
Yeah, we can just extract. Honestly, we have 3,200.
Hold on, guys. I gotta...
Alright.
He's like slowing down, getting tired from clapping.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm doing.
Hey, your stream is kind of weak. You might want to get that checked out.
Hi, Mayor. How's it going?
Hey, he's going.
And look,
Hey,
say,
Mayor.
what the fuck? That's awesome.
Mayor, it's Hoodie. You can't ever just question it.
That's true. Now aim upwards. I'm getting hit by it. I'm getting hit by a spray.
Lux Vita.
I never heard how to come. I mean,
Thank you. I'm
fire.
just constantly just getting hit.
It's okay. Damn, we made money this round.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we
we
did.
did.
Money, 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 money.
My hands.
We're
He's
missing
clapping his cheeks.
We're
Bro
missing
is
one
vigorously twerking into the microphone.
I found the thing.
As long as he's twerking in the microphone instead of fapping in the microphone.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Toads.
Shrink on him. All right, go do it now, Red.
Do it again. Do it again. How you doing, Mayor?
We don't question it. That's yeah. You really shouldn't question it.
We're still in shrink mode.
Sometimes you get
All right,
answers
you ready?
that you don't want.
You ready, Hoodie?
Okay, Ignis Tom.
Shrink Anna. Shrink Anna.
Frog.
Oh, I still have
The
27
orb.
seconds left.
The orb. How much does that sell
Hang
for?
on.
I don't know. Let's find out.
Still got another 15
Two?
seconds.
Oh, what
Two?
a
Takes a
ripoff!
while for this one.
Two?
Keep it then. I don't know.
What the hell?
What does it do?
I don't know.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
You're on Warframe for a
One.
borrow weekend.
This isn't a race
Shrink Anna.
discuss.
Go for it now.
It sounds so juicy now. Because it's higher pitched.
Oh my god!
Bro, lubed up for that one. Holy.
Why is it hurting? What?
What do you mean?
Why is it
You're
hurting?
doing it too hard if it hurts.
There's scabs in it or something?
I am not clapping my hands.
I understand.
Are you
How is
slapping
it-
your own face?
No.
I'm just getting in with their little, just a...
Are you doing a cheek? Are you doing a cheek pull?
Yes, I am.
No,
A cheek wiggle?
Yes, that's what stitched it. No, I've been slapping my forearm on the side with my hand.
Oh.
Let me tell you, it's hurt like a bitch after a while.
Why don't you just make
Good
like?
old-
Why don't you just make slobbery eating noises?
Why don't I just actually jork my ski mask? Why did I think of that?
Why don't you just go, ooh?
Sounds so weird.
Actually, ChiiFett probably could do that one.
Yeah, that
Anna
was
Portelli.
You can't take him to the back room, sorry.
Fuck.
There's no
Teleportana.
back rooms here.
Whoa!
Teleportana.
What? Ah. What are you doing?
What happens if we do it this like at pretty much the same time, Alsanna?
Hang on. Shrink on him.
What? Why would you do that to him?
Because I want to hear it in like Miniature's voice. It's not going to work now because he wasn't ready.
All right, Alsanna, say it right after I do. Not if you're ready.
Uh-oh. Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't going to work.
Alsanna's broken.
Alsanna.
He's broken.
Ah!
Oh, he's not broken anymore.
Swap.
Grab Anna.
Ah!
Grab Anna.
Ah! Oh no! My legs!
Oh, you got telelocked.
Teleportana.
Whisper it.
Fuck! Mercy!
Oh, dude.
Boom! Whoa! I went so far away! I gotta run!
Oh my God.
Oh.
Oh.
I don't know what this is for.
I don't
Swap.
either.
Oh.
Achoo! That was really delayed.
Uh-oh.
That was super delayed.
Looks on.
Poof! Hi, friend.
Oh. See if there's any extra.
Looks on
I
him.
got it. Wait, I have a new one. Where's Wambat?
There, now he sits still.
Wambat!
Hmm.
Second I wanted to cast a spell on me, he's not fucking here.
Oh, yeah?
I had another funny joke lined up, but it was only gonna be funny.
Grab Anna.
When that made me, he's eyeing me.
Grab Anna.
Poof enema.
Oh,
Wambat, come here.
my
Did you
ankles!
say poof enema?
My
I
ankles!
don't want a poof enema.
Oh no! My ankles! Help!
What
Oh, ah!
One of us.
Jesus.
One of us.
Ah!
One of us.
Okay, I stand. Oh,
Okay, what
Swap.
were you wanting to try?
Oh, we'll do it when we get in.
Swap.
Okay.
Oh,
Ignis Boom.
12 seconds. Hold on.
Poof
Swap.
enema.
oh.
I'm doing great. Mayor, thank you for.
I'm doing
I would not say I'm alive, but I'm here.
Boop, 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 poof anime.
Alright,
Luxana.
Grab
Ow.
Anna.
Wambat, shrink me.
Arrow.
Okay. Shriek on it.
Tempest.
Arrow. Arrow. Ah! No! Oh
Why? Why are you doing this to me?
no! I'm okay.
Grab Anna.
Just like, just moaning. Oh, as he gets bigger again.
That's funny.
Blink. No. Wait.
Am I supposed to be
Still
doing
got another
anything?
30 seconds right on my next
Just
one.
tongued.
Okay. It's actually. Oh yeah. Really?
It's actually really effective. Don't ask why. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, wait, what's the quest? Do I have to like burn quest doesn't work right now. Fuck that quest.
Burn books.
Well,
turn
this didn't
monsters
have
into
anything
fish.
up top.
Oh, it's the same as the day
Arrow.
before.
Hey guys, I made a friend. Guys, I
Oh,
made
shit.
a friend. He's not.
Tell
guys.
Fish yuck!
Custodia.
Oh, yeah, fish.
Luxana.
Oh, you gotta hit him.
Lux
Fish
Vita.
yuck.
Poof. Anime.
It's not working.
Stand away.
Ow!
Ow.
Die.
I couldn't turn him into a fish for some reason.
Nice.
Why wouldn't
Handle
he?
it.
Why wouldn't he turn into a fish?
It's because it was
Oh.
locked.
No, I need to do that for the quest.
I owe you more.
Oh, okay.
I mean, to burn him. Ignis tongue.
Ooh, free wand.
yeah.
I already got one of the ones of illusions.
Fuck yeah.
Eventually, that joke. Oh,
I-
eyeball.
Oh! Oh!
Telelock.
Oh!
Can you tell? Oh my god, you can't tell.
Poof.
That's
Anime.
hilarious.
What?
Oh, you can telelock it.
Why is there whistling? I don't like it.
Oh, somebody got a wand for me, I guess? Cool. Ignis, whatever the fuck spell it was
Can't
called.
see.
Ignis tongue.
Why is there whistling?
What the hell? Tell him.
Sexual joke. Burn.
Gee, there's another
Luxana.
knight down the stairs.
Is there?
Oh,
I want
I
to turn him
want
into a
that.
fish,
Yeah,
please.
for you to make a fish.
Okay.
I'm oof. That eye almost got me.
Where is he? Oh.
He was.
I
right
have
there
him.
in front of us. There
Got
we
him.
go.
Hey.
Telelock.
Tempest. He's breaking a box.
Ow.
Oh no!
Telelock. All right. When he comes back out, you can hit him again.
Eyeball! Ah! Eyeball! Ouch! It hurts!
Temper.
You don't want to hit him again
Where is
because
he?
he's probably out of that spell. He's back, still back down there.
Does it? I can't see.
Does it count? I don't know if it counts twice or not.
I don't know.
If it's the same monster.
Let's find out.
Telelock. All right.
I don't think it works.
Wait
if
until
he's
the
locked.
lock goes and then hit him with it.
Okay.
Wow.
How long is this gonna take? Oh,
He's
fish
out of
yuck!
it now.
Oh no, I'm in cooldown!
Ow.
Run! Fish yuck! No! Fish yuck!
Tough. There you go.
Telepatana.
Let's get out of here.
Got him. Arrow.
All right, back up.
I can't see. I don't know where I'm going. Everything's dark.
All right, here we go.
Eh,
I need some help.
I'm up
I
here.
got whacked.
Oh, that's crazy. Lux
yeah.
Vita.
I know.
Mercy. Ow.
Thank you.
Oh, son, I broke his ankles.
My legs.
I break
Telepatana.
myself for healing.
Whoa.
Dude, that teleportation thing is cool.
Yeah.
Arrow.
How do I go uppies?
Anna Portelli. Fuck. Anna Portelli.
Oh, we can see where each one of us are. Hey, I found a crit.
I'm alone.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay.
There's a scrying orb right here, where
Yeah,
we
I
can
was-
see the others.
Yeah, I was looking at it.
Okay. Let's see here.
Arrow.
Is there a down here, or is this just all around? No, this is just all around. Okay. So now down.
I think we're trying to go up.
Are we trying to go up, or are you trying to go down?
I think we're trying to go up, aren't we?
I'm just following stuff. Or just going places. And there's a knight right there.
Oh.
And the little fish dudes.
Alright, I'm running away.
You're gonna run away? Okay. Let's see if we can find the others.
Yeah. Rabbit. Oh.
Is that a knight right there? What the hell is that gesture ass thing? Telelock. Keep run. I don't know how long that lock is gonna hold.
Oh. Fish yuck.
Closing the door. Nice job.
Where is everybody? Oh.
I don't know. Why is there another version of me?
Oh.
Oh crap.
Ah! No! I don't like this! Oh god!
Oh, this is not good at all. You still here,
Hey.
Chi?
No.
Okay, so
Welcome to the afterlife.
Oh god, that
Watch
was
out, Chi.
terrifying!
Telelock.
That was so scary. Wait, there was something
What
pretending
got
to
you?
be something was pretending to be Wambat.
Oh.
I am super screwed.
You got by the doppelganger.
Yeah, and then also that
Shit,
big
this was the
tall
starting
jester
area.
guy. They both got me.
Yeah, that guy killed me.
They tag teamed me. The fake Wambat drew me in, and then the jester guy got me.
Telelock.
Oh, I don't like him. He's creepy.
Oh, I didn't realize you could lock the doors.
Oh shit, she's dead. Is that Al dead?
Yeah, it is. Grab my wand and revive me, bud.
Telelock.
Oh no, my fish wand!
Oh, nar.
Crap.
Don't revive here.
My fish wand is gone forever.
It's okay. Hopefully he realizes that he can revive us with my Healy wand.
I don't think he knows.
Come on, stamina.
I don't know where
Oh,
Red
he
and
move, he
Stitch
go.
are.
Uh-oh.
Wambat's just going in a circle.
Telelock.
Oh, they're there.
Might have hit you, though.
All right, let's get out of here.
Ignis boom.
She and Al
know
are
where-
both dead.
Boom.
Do you know where extraction is?
Ignis boom.
No, I don't. But I grabbed.
Where are their bodies? You're
Al's.
holding the revive staff.
Come here.
Oh,
Wanda, come here.
Say Lux Vita.
Lux Vita.
Ignis boom.
Lux Vita.
It's doing it. It's
Dead.
healing.
Tom.
Okay.
Ow.
Oh shit! I didn't know I could revive them.
Do it again.
I killed the big guy in there.
Lux Vita.
There you go.
Another 34
That's
seconds.
cooldown.
Okay, fine.
There you go.
That's
Where are
a
their
Beat
bodies?
Boy cooldown.
Back this way, up the stairs, across the hall, and everything else.
Lead me.
I'm leading. There's a fucking jester puppet thing. Oh! Oh shit!
what was that?
Telelock.
Oh, he froze Stitch! Oh,
Oh god!
Fucking spider! Telelock. Telelock.
shit! Ooh, man.
Not that. Shit,
Wow,
shit.
Wambat's gamering right now. Wambat's gamering so hard.
Wambat's a whole gamer.
Corpse, anima.
Oh, he did it!
Enchant.
Kind of.
No, enchant.
Oh,
Do the incantation.
Anima. Vita.
He's doing it!
Vita. Anima. Vita.
He's doing it!
He's doing it.
Vita.
For thousands of years I lay dormant.
Oh no, now I'm alone
shit.
in death.
300. Oh shit! Watch out for spider. Lux Vita.
Don't tell me twice. Oh shit! Boing?
All right, come get your wand.
I'm on my way.
Grab it, because the spider's right behind you.
Oh. Lux Vita.
Oh shit. Telelock.
Grab a-
There we go.
We still haven't found extraction, by the way.
Stitch is just carrying me. There's so many monsters everywhere. Holy shit.
Where's the revive room?
John dead.
On a Portelli.
Oh no, Wambat!
Yeah, he jumped
Buddy, do
up
you
there
remember
and
where
got
the
me from
revive is?
behind.
What happened?
Never mind, I think I
The
found it.
spider got me from behind.
Oh. Oh!
I was also looking for your corpse now that I know that I could have done that, but
Corvus.
also the time frame for it to cool down is like huge.
Altus. Lumen.
Oh, he's got the jester. You need to lock.
Oculus.
You need to lock him.
Anima. Vita. Corpus.
Whoa.
Altus.
This is kind of cool.
Lumen.
Yeah.
Oculus.
Yeah. Now it's got like
Anima.
jesters and a bunch of other stuff
Vita.
flying at us.
Welcome back.
Whoa!
Yay! Al's got the spider on him.
I have no wands.
Nice. Yeah, that happens when he dies. All right, let's go.
We'll deal with it when we get back.
We just need to find extraction. We can buy you a new one later.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know by any chance where?
Not a clue.
Okay.
Anna Portelli.
Oh,
Damn it.
Oh, we're in the
Did
back
I just
rooms.
go upstairs? Is that what happened?
it's dark.
Luxana. Luxana. Yeah, we in the back rooms. Luxana.
Oh, oh no.
Teleport Anna.
We got 2 minutes.
G, come here.
Yeah.
Teleport Anna. Teleport Anna.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, I hear Wayne. Teleport Anna.
I'm going up the stairs.
Teleport Anna.
So are we.
Teleport
Oh.
Anna.
Just kidding.
Oh, 1 second. Teleport Anna.
Fucking spiders up the stairs.
Hi. Teleport Anna. We're still going uppies. Teleport Anna. Oh, okay. There's no more uppies
Why? I
to
was
go.
here. In the room.
Run!
Come here. Come over to me. Teleport Anna.
Ah!
Run.
Oh, we just tore up and went back
Ow!
up to the spider.
I can't hear me.
Oh, that's the
This
way
way.
up. Okay.
Run, 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 run! Alsanna's at the top. Run.
I'm out of
Teleport
standing.
Anna.
I'm trying to run.
Teleport Anna.
Where are they? Get in.
It took a second.
That was so terrifying.
The spider is freaky.
That's spider.
I don't like him. He's a jerk.
That jerkwad, I'm gonna file a complaint.
That freak of nature.
He's a jerk.
I need
And
to
that
speak
big,
to your manager,
that big, tall,
Spider.
creepy jester guy's a
Wait, can you
fucking
guys
jerk.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Hoodie, for whatever reason, can't hear me at all.
Oh no, I can hear you now. That was weird.
Oh, nice.
Okay. We need to get somebody a wand that Chi and Wambat don't have wands anymore at all.
I have 2 of this Arcana wand, so.
Okay.
What's that?
Chi. Chi needs the flashlight.
Jay?
One
Chi,
telekinesis.
that one's a spare.
This one?
Yeah. Say Luxana.
Luxana.
Look, you have a
Hi.
flashlight now.
Oh, I have a friend.
Mercy.
And Chi, look at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say grab Anna.
Grab Anna. Oh, I missed.
Well, I said look at me.
I was looking above you.
Grab a bunch of.
Grab Anna.
What's the spell? Grab a bunch of.
Oh, hi, friend.
Hey.
Hello.
I just picked you up.
And then you can say teleport Anna.
Teleport Anna.
Well,
Oh,
up
I
in
can
the
make, can make a fast getaway.
And
wonder
then
if
if you
we can
say the
chain it.
incantation backwards, Anna Portelli, you will go down, but there's no down here.
Okay.
Do you want me to grab the astral wand?
The
That
astral
one's kinda
wand
tricky.
is it's just mobility. That's all it does.
Oh, okay. Well then,
It's pretty
Wand
neat.
of telekinesis is
Just
probably
be-
the best all-around wand.
Just be
Yeah,
very
but
careful
we
with the
still need,
astral
like,
one if you get
more.
it. Because
Yeah,
it
it's
is
how I died
so
the first
easy. It's so easy To throw yourself over the edge
Swap.
of a cliff with the astral wand.
Yeah.
Oh. The only thing we can grab right now is the minor arcanes.
Let's sleep because we've already beat the thing,
Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna be able to.
Nice, and then we get more money.
and then we'll have
What?
money.
Anna Portelli.
I'm gonna end my stream so I don't have to talk to stream. My throat.
Really?
Oh, I'm in the back
Oh,
rooms!
okay.
Wombat, I'm in the walls!
You're in the walls.
Hey, buddy. Teleport
Get the
down.
bones.
Hey, I saw you flip out.
Oh!
Oh no, it's stuck in the floor or something.
Get the bones.
I was stuck in the rug.
Teleport Anna!
We were stuck in a rug.
Swap.
You were stuck in a rug.
Anna Portelli.
Yeah.
Damn.
Blink. I'm going to his thumb.
Whoosh.
4,700.
Okay, now we should be able to afford somebody who doesn't have an offensive wand to grab the wand of telekinesis.
Yeah.
You know, Wambat, I just want to point out though that when you tried to lock that enemy, right as I swapped with it,
Uh-huh.
you locked me in place and then it came and beat my ass.
I watched the whole thing.
Oh no.
I was trying to help out and
No, I appreciate it, but like, if we're running from a monster and the monster is between us, let me swap first.
Okay. I won't tell Locky in place by accident.
Like that?
Grab Anna.
Yep. Up dog. Arrow.
All right, let's get it.
Ora, ora.
Whoosh.
Tempest.
You okay, Red?
No, Ignis boom. There we go.
Oh, we're doing red.
Grim Roost, Night 1.
Whoa.
There we go.
Looks Anna.
There we go.
Yep, we've already done that, apparently, already. Piss on monsters. And then remove guard helmets. 3 of them.
Wait,
grab
wait.
on.
I don't think we have a piss wand anymore.
Ow.
And we don't have a piss wand anymore.
My bones.
Luxana.
Alsanna.
Yeah. Doesn't work that well.
Grab Anna.
I know, it sounds like we're just making fun of your
Daikatana.
name.
Bigger dicker.
Bigger tickers.
Grab Anna.
Arrow.
Ow. I hit myself.
Teleport Anna. Teleport Anna.
Luxana.
That's much better.
Okay, I can't see
arrow.
extraction from the roof, so I think it's to the north.
Destroy shit.
Which way is north?
Look in the top right, there's a compass.
Oh, I didn't know that was a compass.
Okay.
North.
Blink.
Ah!
Teleport Anna.
Ah! Oh. There's stairs. Oh, there's a goblin! Help! Grab Anna. Teleport Anna. Teleport Anna. Shoot. Teleport Anna. No!
We're gonna have to go up.
Help! I'm stuck! Grab Anna.
G.
Gee?
Help! Help! I'm sounded
You're like
scared.
on the other side.
I don't know.
Oh, it's a mimic. Watch out, Wombat.
It mimicked her voice.
No, it's a mimic pot.
Help!
Oh, I see the conundrum. Lux
Tell
Vita.
Help!
You can teleblast that thing off the edge of the map.
Oh, that's a good point. Tell blast.
Wait, it has to be.
No, it's not moving.
That's
Guys,
a good
help!
point, buddy.
Help!
Oh, you're a spot of
blast.
bother. Jump on
There
the
it goes.
railing and then jump up here.
I don't know how.
Up dog.
I can't. I'm
Oh,
not-
Dog.
There you go.
Dog.
Oh.
Tell
Where'd you
oh,
go?
Oh.
Tell what? Ow.
Custodia.
Oh crap! It's like a
Lux Vita.
giant freaking head. Ow.
Luxana.
Hey.
That was so scary.
Yeah, you seem pretty scared.
Yeah, I was like trapped
Custodia.
I was trapped in the basement
Did I lose my
with a
wand?
knight, and then I was chased by the goblins.
Did he lose his... Oh, they stole his fucking wand.
Those bastards.
Alright, follow me.
I don't want to. But also I don't want to be alone.
Alright, we're
Okay.
going down.
Down.
I need help.
There was a knight down here earlier. There's a knight down here.
Lux
somewhere.
Vita.
So just keep that in mind.
Where's Wombat?
I don't know. Did he die?
Wombat?
I thought I heard him.
Wombat?
Is he dead?
I don't know. Wombat?
There's a door.
Alright, follow me. Teleportada.
There's a lot of scary noises.
Yeah, that happens. But we're safe from that spider there. So that's pretty cool. Whoa.
Oh! I just heard red.
I also hear red.
Red!
Have you seen Wombat?
Where's red?
Okay.
I don't hear him anymore. How did you... Oh, there he is. How did you jump over there like that?
Fire.
I jumped on the chandelier.
Oh.
Grabana.
Grab. Oh! What?
That didn't sound good.
No, that sounded bad.
I don't have an offensive one, so trying to break this stuff is kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Anna Portelli.
Arrow.
Did that Ignis Tom
Right? Red?
burn?
Spider, 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 spider,
Custodia.
spider.
Teleportana.
Oh.
Ow.
Are you okay?
Lux Vita. I am now.
What was that noise?
I don't know. It's cool though.
I heard.
Grabana.
Oh, Jesus!
Ah! My bones.
Why does it pull towards you? It should push away or something.
Grabana. Oh.
Oh.
Grabana.
Grab Anna.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Get me off of that wild ride.
Whee! Oh!
Anna Portelli.
Oh! I fell. Oh no!
Oh, where am I?
I hear you, but I don't see you.
I think I'm in the back rooms. Hang on. Teleportana.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hey. I was in the back rooms for a sec.
Okay, we should probably try to find everybody, yeah?
Yeah, they're this way. Probably. Oh shit!
Okay,
Custodia.
okay.
Anna Portelli. Alright, this way. Shall we?
Oh god. Is this where we just came from?
No. This is where our friends are, probably.
Friends? Yeah, let's push that shut. Oh god, he's getting closer.
Anna.
Ah! No! No!
Custodia. Teleportada.
Arrow.
Oh shit. Mercy.
Teleportana.
Teleportana.
I missed. Teleportana.
I got you, buddy.
Oh god. That's good because it didn't work when I said it.
All right. We are
Yeah.
safe at last.
Are we really? Are you sure?
Yeah,
That's-
sure. Probably.
The
Something
spider
like
just keeps showing up everywhere we go.
that. He's pretty persistent.
He is, bastard.
Teleportana. All right.
Oh. Is that a secret? What happened? What happened when you push that
Hit
button?
the button.
Oh.
So we can go over here.
Oh, that's cool.
I hear our friends.
Friendship.
Hey!
Friends!
Area. Oh, that was dope.
Yeah.
We got a dead wombat at the exit.
On it.
By dead wombat, I mean I fucking killed him with my vomit lava.
Uh-oh.
Which way's the exit?
Live here.
Oh, all right. I got him. You
What's
guys
that?
do more stuff. I got Wombat.
Oh yeah, we kind of got everything near the exit already.
Teleportana.
I think we're done here.
Teleportana.
Hey, buddy.
Buddy, you want to res Wambat?
You got a little fucked up, huh? Corpus Anima.
Yeah, Hoodie killed him. And then almost killed him.
Vita. Anima. Vita. Anima. Vita.
Whoa.
That's just too fucking.
Anima.
It's creepy, right?
Vita. Anima. Vita.
This is taking forever.
Anima.
There we go.
He's alive!
Brought once more into the
I could
mortal
desperately use a
plane.
heal. Thank you.
I got you, buddy.
Hoodie
Mercy.
put me to
Did I have my
Hoodie put me
Wombat?
to 10 health.
Mercy. Oh, I can't heal you
Thank
when
you.
you're receiving heals.
My one wand.
Mercy. What? Mercy? Oh.
There's
Sometimes
no
it doesn't
mercy.
work.
No mercy is left for you.
Oh.
Well, spend most of the time getting chased by a spider.
How'd we get exactly 2,000? Damn, we're good.
2 nights remain.
Why did you have to say it like 2 nights remain?
Because
I
he
don't
thinks he's Christopher Walken.
Listen, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Alright, Froggy, I brought you back so you could give me money. You gave me 30 bucks, let's go!
Hey, yo!
Mine only gave me like
Nice.
5. What the shit?
Receive my payment true.
It's the wand of illusions.
Fire.
I can have my illusions back.
Did you like them?
I mean, I'll take whatever.
It is a purely defensive wand.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, what was I
Do you want
using the
this?
illusions for?
Do you want this wand? The purple one? The minor
The
arcana?
teleporty wand.
Actually, I
Roxana.
probably should have the Healy along with me just in case.
Yeah,
So we
grab
have 2
one.
healers. 2 healers and 2 chances to res.
Nice.
Battle res, I guess.
I feel like
These are
as the person
are my
that's
only
most
ones that I
likely
feel
to
like I'm
kill
fine.
people.
What?
I have the healing wand, so when I kill a person, I can bring it back.
I think you just need a
I
healer
have the
with
power
you.
of life and death.
Hey, wait back, who you resident after I whoop your ass?
Shut up.
Grab on.
I didn't even mean to, it was so funny.
Teleblast. Telelock.
It's so funny seeing
Stay
people
right
just
there.
get grabbed and then like dragged off stage.
Oh.
Missed idiot, Ignis balls.
Whoa.
I keep thinking you say balls.
He is.
Yes.
I am.
He is saying balls. That's what it
Ignis balls. you can.
means. I guess
you
it
can
could
travel
be
pretty far
Ignis
with that,
D's
too.
nuts.
Yeah, as long as you're aiming upwards, you can go real far with that. But it hurts you and it hurts everyone around you. That's how a hoodie
Yeah.
almost killed me.
It was funny.
Ow.
Damn it,
Arrow.
Let's send it.
Ignis,
Telelock.
2 for 1.
Ignis boom.
Swap.
Ah, I got you.
Tee.
Sun Garrison. I hope it looks
You
different than
suck,
the past.
hoodie.
Damn.
You shot me halfway across the map right as it hit 1.
That's
Arrow.
okay, you deserve it.
Arrow.
Teleblast.
Oh.
Well done.
Guys, I've got
That
a
was weak.
contract.
Yeah.
Offer.
Guys, we have a new contract. That's fucking hilarious.
Custodian.
Trade.
Teleblast.
Luxana.
Luxana.
Remove guard helmets.
Nice.
Clog sinks or toilets.
Yeah, I don't know where we go. Teleblast.
How do we clog a sink?
Pee on monsters.
Piss in it?
Oh, boogers.
Oh, maybe. But we don't have the grotesque wand.
Anna Portelli.
The eyeball's downstairs.
Teleblast.
Save your life.
Teleblast.
Teleportana. Ow.
Oh, you fell through the eyeball.
Here you
Teleportana.
Custodian.
go. Ignis tongue.
You're on a shelf.
Ignis tongue.
I feel like a cat. Arrow.
Here
Oh.
Oh.
Ow.
Lux Vita.
Grab Anna. Grab Anna.
He poofed.
Grab Anna.
The 2 white mages running together.
Grab Anna.
Oh.
Hey.
Teleport Anna.
Anna Portelli.
Ah!
I thought for sure I was about to get immediately teleported back downstairs.
Arrow.
Alright, let's see here. There's the stairs.
There's a torch. If you want a torch, Chi.
Teleblast.
Wait, can I light things on fire with it?
I don't know, actually.
Oh.
We can try. What does it say? Chi, when you
Teleportana.
right click.
Oh.
What?
And it didn't like you going through that little
I
chandelier
guess
light.
not.
There's
Teleportana.
Teleblast.
Alright.
Back up.
Alright.
Oh!
So where next?
Oh!
Oh, by the way, it's an eyeball though.
Oh.
By the way. There's that outside. Where'd you guys
Teleblast.
go?
Over here. Teleportana.
Luxana.
Nope.
Oh! That sounded scary.
What did?
I don't know, I heard a sound. Oh.
I mean, I hear
Looks
the persistent beating of a
Vita.
heart, but that's because of the wand.
Luxana. Luxana.
Yeah, I think we gotta go this way.
Oh, you can make it brighter? Luxana.
Yeah, you can make it stay. Looks Anna.
Oh.
Looks Anna. Look at us, Anna. I mean,
I don't know where I'm going. Everything looks the same. It looks like everybody's already been through here.
I'm scared.
Luxana. I'm scared too. Where do we go?
hey, how's it going, Canada?
Ow.
Welcome on in.
What?
Grab
Did you
on.
get injured?
Gargoyle.
Look
Oh,
at you. Oh.
what was that noise?
We're doing the Harry
Nice.
Potter. So we're doing YapYap right now, where we're
It is a Harry Potter
places,
reference.
hissing them and setting things on fire. It's
Oh
fun.
shit!
Wait, did you clog the sinks?
What were you? Give me one
I'm
second.
sorry. The wand of destruction.
You
Who let
haven't
Hoodie
seen
pick that
Canada.
up?
Go
Hey,
check it
yo.
out.
What does it do?
Oh, Jesus!
My bones!
My brain is slow.
Ouch!
There we go.
What else does it do?
Wham wham.
Hey, Petunia, how you doing?
Is that
Oh
it?
crap! I just got hit by
Teleportana.
something.
Oh,
Alrighty. What do we
Dick.
do for Petunia as
Arrow.
well? Double raid.
wait.
Yeah.
Grab Anna.
Wham wham.
There we
Luxana.
go.
Wham.
What were y'all? Y'all are
That's
both
for
playing
breaking my
Fortnite?
knees.
Hell yeah.
Did,
Blah. Wham wham.
Oh! Ow! I got wham-whammed.
You got hit by the shaman. That bird thing, not me.
Oh. I see.
I killed it with the wham wham. Oh,
Grab
sorry.
Anna. Grab Anna.
Oh, here, I got it. Wham wham.
Ow! I hit myself.
Wham wham. Oh, it went down there. For some
You said-
reason. Never mind, I ain't got shit.
You said don't pull you down.
Oh, it's your Fortnite's your latest obsession at the moment. Yeah. Fortnite's fun when you have
Grab
a
on.
good group with you, because then you just stop paying attention to the game and just have fun.
Dead. No,
Yeah,
dead.
but getting
Okay.
kicked in the nuts repeatedly is fun if you have friends with you.
Dear God, why?
Yes,
Someone getting kidnapped.
Max Teleblast.
What is happening? I don't like that.
Oh, that was a fake.
Arrow.
Oh, a mimic?
Teleblast.
It was a
More like a
gargoyle.
skinwalker. The gargoyle just kidnapped Hoodie, I think.
Oh. Wait,
Well-
where did he take him?
Arrow.
Teleport Anna. Oh,
How do we-
well,
how do we-
not there.
How do
Yeah,
we
he
get him
did-
back?
He didn't like that wall.
I think he's up on top of the roof there.
Oh dear lord, it just threw me up there. Okay.
How do I get up there? Can I teleport?
Tempest.
I think that's too far
probably
to
with
teleport.
the arrow wands.
Oh, he's
God.
coming back! Run!
Swap.
Oh, does he not
Telelock.
work inside?
I can't hit him.
He breaks inside. Where
Teleblast.
did Stitch go, though?
I heard him teleport, but that was it. We need to be the other side.
Yeah, we need to be over there. How do we get over there?
I don't know. I'm gonna try walking this way. I hear someone. Red, is that you?
Yeah, I'm fucking dying.
Yeah, I just don't know where. Oh, there you are. Let me get down there.
Teleport down.
Lux Fita.
Ah! Oh, okay. Well, I got taken.
Chi.
Yeah.
Ow. We found the way out. It's back this way. It's down the stairs and stuff.
Okay.
That's the way out. We
What's
still
that
got like 6 minutes.
Wham, wham. Fucking hilarious. God
What?
damn, I hope you're not dead. You're not dead. Can you hear Stitch? You got a little low.
Lux Vita.
Grab Anna.
What happened?
Oh, I think it's healing Chi, not
Trade.
Stitch. Oh, I'm in a corner. How are you doing?
He smacked me with the hammer.
Oh.
Oh,
I got picked up by a gargoyle. And
I also can't hear him.
Oh.
I can hear him.
I forgot he can't hear me. I was giving.
I see him talking. I cannot hear him.
That's hilarious. You tell him I gave him a warning too. I just forgot.
He said he gave you a warning.
Clearly did not.
Well,
Liar!
if you can't hear him, I guess you wouldn't have heard the warning, right?
Yeah, it's not much of a warning if you can't hear him.
I forgot he couldn't hear me. I just fucked him up.
Anyway, extraction's like right there.
Where?
What's up?
Extraction is here, basically.
Yeah.
Up dog.
Did we
How
clog?
are we supposed to clog the toilet?
We already did.
Oh, we already did?
It's like,
Okay. Where's Al? Anybody seen Al? Did they just run up the stairs? Stitch. Alright. That's the resurrection room. Let's go to the extraction. I think they just walked up there.
Oh.
Stitch, Red, y'all here? Yeah, there you are. What about Al? Did Al make it over here?
I think I just set Odie off the map.
Nice.
Because he keeps
is
hitting
Al
me with
dead?
hammers and attacking me. Hold on, let's see. Check the orb. Yeah, Alsanna is currently being grabbed by a gargoyle.
Oh, he's doing what I tried. I tried to go across that roof too, and they picked me up and dropped me. Because I tried to go across to get over here.
At least he's got the teleportation.
Do you recognize that room?
No.
yeah.
It
that's
all
what we were
looks
just
the
saying,
same.
wasn't it?
I don't
Was
know.
that legitimately the one? we
Maybe
were
somebody
just
should go get him.
next to us?
Red, go get him.
I'll go get him.
Red rescue mission.
Ignis legs.
I'll come with you, just in case we have to revive him. Oh, no, you'll have the wand. You'll have the wand with you.
Not necessarily. If he dies from the monster, the wand is gone.
Oh. Well, shit.
Oh, goblin! It's like watching a show.
I just wish the camera was facing the other way.
Right, so you see what they see.
Yeah. Instead of looking directly at them. Swap. Prank.
Poof.
Ooh, Alsanna is alive. It's hard to tell colors in that. In the scrying orb.
Yeah.
Like that one's clearly Wambat. Wambat doesn't know the secret of the monsters apparently. I taught Hoodie how to deal with the chickens.
Yeah, you're supposed to like repeat what they're saying or something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Chickens. The chickens.
I was there when you were explaining it.
I was molded
Ow.
there. Born there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't even say the word.
Mon chum.
You said there, and I thought you said arrow.
Oh, it's stupid.
I said look like very tasty with
KFC breading.
Ah,
Grab on it.
Alsanna chicken.
Lux Vita.
Lux Vita. Double heal.
Somebody keeps trying to.
Poof.
Oh, we're almost there.
Yeah, we're fine.
real close.
Oh, now I can hear Hoodie.
Hey.
So,
So glitchy. Why are you sitting on Alsanna's
Yeah, it's a bit
face?
glitchy.
Oh, you know.
They've already put out 2 hot
It was
fixes already.
comfortable.
wham wham.
Ow!
Ow.
Grab Anna.
God.
All right, let me
Grab
look at the
Anna.
thing.
Oh.
We still need to remove guard helmets. Who got the guard helmets off? Off of one of them.
Accept this goal.
Who are the guards?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Somebody
Al,
just
did you
bought
get a
one
guard's
while I was
helmet off?
Trying to roll for a grotesque one so we could finish that.
It's okay. There's one right here we can buy. We have the money for it now.
We do now. Okay. Chi, do you want to piss on monsters?
Okay. I found
Come on,
gold.
She's like, say no more.
The frog's straight out.
Nice.
Grab it.
Hell yeah.
Come here, froggy.
Oh, the grotesque monster.
It's this one right here.
Yeah, the yucky looking one with the eyes in it.
over here. Okay.
Hold.
Did we already shake? Did we already shake the frogs for more money?
Yeah.
Wait.
Okay.
Ow. Rude.
Tail blast.
Ow.
I got more gold.
Tail lock.
Is the wham wham the only spell it's got?
Boom. Yeah, only spell.
Wow.
Ignis boom.
Teleport on
Ignis boom. Well, Ignis boom.
Where'd they all go?
They just teleported. Probably downstairs.
Ow! I know, they went upstairs.
It's gotta be.
It was
yeah.
going to happen. We couldn't move.
I
that.
didn't know there was a upstairs. There's a
Whoa.
grimoire.
Yeah.
It doesn't have one.
That's all it does?
Interesting.
Yeah, all I do is smash
All the
shit.
wand does is just a hammer.
Yeah. Yeah, well, wham wham.
Float Nola.
I didn't know there was a
I hate
uppies here.
Look,
Tail blast.
Oh. Float Nola. Look, Chi, it's
Hey,
a floating
Wambat.
chair.
Whoa.
you know how I can look at you and say
it's
swap?
flying.
Float Nola.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch this.
Oh.
Offer.
Well, here it comes.
Oh.
What? No.
Offer.
What's offer? I'm worried about offer. Get out of my way, Red. No. No offer. Offer Red. It is wham wham. Offer Red is wham wham.
It's in the name of science, Wambit.
No. No science. I'm dumb. We're not doing it.
Alright,
You
hit
didn't
it.
even notice what I did.
What'd you do?
Offer. Oh, 1 second. Hold on. Wambat, stay over there.
No. Okay.
Offer. Trade.
Oh.
It is.
That's cool.
Nice.
I can also do that with any items.
That's cool.
And monsters.
I can slam down my giant
Word.
hammer.
Alright, do it.
Wait. Oh, wait.
Telelock.
Swap.
Shit on.
That thing's got some reach.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm still locked though.
We have so many ingredients.
That's funny. Wait, wait.
Like, so many ingredients. Oh my god.
All right. What?
That's because we never make
That was
anything.
cool. Yeah.
We have so many ingredients.
We should make something because I don't have a stamina
Oh,
upgrade.
I don't think that's a spell.
Ooh, okay. Let's see what we've got.
Oh no! Ah!
Do you want to try and make a stamina upgrade?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
We need,
I need a health
two
one
glowing
too.
mushrooms.
2 mushrooms.
Glowing mushrooms, yep.
The tongue.
What is that?
We
What
need,
is
we need an
in
amber.
your mouth,
we
Hoodie.
need an amber,
It feels
and we
like a
need
shot.
one of the plants. Okay.
I cast.
Blood roux.
1.
Oh, we've got some ingredients in here already. Hang on.
Oh.
Oh fuck, manual breathing.
I couldn't remember the name.
Here's the amber.
No! Hold on. Hold on.
I cast.
Not yet.
Okay.
I cast.
Put the sprig in.
Manual blinking.
Oh, does it
I had
have
the
to be
amber.
order?
Put that guy in.
This one?
Yeah, put that guy in. Now we need the sprig and we need the amber.
There's the amber.
Okay. And now we need one of those like twigs behind you.
Cast
Got it.
Yeah, this,
On the foretelling.
sage. They're called, so they're sage.
Yeah,
The
that's the
secret
one.
is that the fireball's in real life and it's a drink.
No, Alti already used that on me. You can't cast it again.
Hey!
Nice.
One of
Nice.
the
We got a
for
shit
cheap.
ton of potion ingredients. Holy fuck.
Ah, that's what I've been saying.
Dude, I've got so many.
Now you need a bottle, Chi.
Yeah, I picked it up. Where'd it
Be
go?
careful not to hold E. It'll empty out the potion.
I bet you that's what you did last time. Just tap E.
Oh, somebody held E.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, what did you say? I cast manual breathing.
Did it again.
Hoodie and I were having a wizard duel.
Oh. Well, I know what Hoodie's spell was.
I cast uncomfortable socks.
Joke's on you.
All right. Where did our golem gonads go? I know. Oh, here they are. You said we needed a health increase too.
Yeah, I need a health increase is what I
I
need- we need a-
last time.
We need a
Itchy
rose.
underwear.
Grab on it.
We need a blood rose.
right here.
Yep. We need a dragon bone.
Here's one.
I just freed a dragon bone from the carpet. Oh, she
Got it.
caught it.
Yep. There's a dragon bone.
And 2 golem gonads.
Go.
Which are over.
I think that's
Yonder.
I think that's 4. I've got one.
Sorry, two sets of gonads.
One more set of gonads. Okay.
So 2 pairs.
Yeah, that's the one. All right.
Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up, eat it up. Reese's Puffs, Reese's Puffs.
All right.
We've
Now I got
so
that
many
health.
dragon hearts.
I know.
Ah. My body.
Dude, I just cast the strongest spell, projectile.
Projectile vomit.
I cast bottle.
I cast gun.
Yeah, it would.
That would be kind of funny if they added an extra wand after all this, which was just a machine gun. And you
I
just
cast
go,
bottle and
you
Wayback's
know.
face. Ah, shit, 2 for 1.
Ass.
Both of you. Austin and the Wayback. That's actually more impressive.
Oh, we gotta.
Oh no, Stitch is broken.
Oh no.
Okay.
I was an interview stage. I just can't.
you're having too much fun.
Stitch is broken. You broke him.
Again? I got it.
Oh.
He's
What? Cooldown.
Stitch is
reduction.
busted.
Actually pretty fine with my abilities.
Stitch.
Corpus anima. Nope, doesn't work. What?
I cast.
Alright.
Oh,
By
Stitch
my
is back.
calculations, we have enough for 1 more potion. Let me
Yeah,
fill
I
up this
can't-
bottle real quick.
Oh, now I know.
That's
Tell
that's
me.
what the nerdy potion does.
Oh.
You little
You walked into that
grab
one.
Anna.
You walked into it.
Grab Anna.
It's enough.
Grab Anna.
No.
Swap.
You're also self-proclaimed it too.
Swap. Swap. Swap.
Ah,
Blink.
fish yuck.
Grab Anna.
No, how did you get?
Woo! Woo! Wizard party.
Oh,
Achoo.
it's just
Oh my god, I'm stuck with it.
He's escaping.
He's spinning.
Whee!
Cooldown reduction
Wow.
potion.
Grab Anna.
You're welcome.
No! Damn it, stop!
That's cool.
Offer.
No, no,
Trade.
stop.
Oh,
I'm in the pot. Alright. Good for the last night?
Yeah, let's go.
yeah, probably.
Teleport
Yeah,
Anna.
let's go grab it.
Ah!
Teleport Anna.
Nice.
Teleport Hana. We went too far
Link.
uppies.
Ignis boom.
Grab Anna.
You ain't just exploding everything.
This is win-win.
Wham wham. You were gonna
Oh,
wham wham the.
This is
You were
wham.
gonna wham wham the bomb.
No, you said this is. Storm Garrison. No more
Alright.
lights after this one.
We gotta make
Alright, lock the fuck in.
800
Lock the fuck in.
Teleblast.
Yes, I agree. Let's do it.
Teleblast!
Looks on.
Hi Courtney.
Teleblast!
It's been really scary so far.
Teleport Anna.
Luxana.
Teleblast.
Teleblast.
Oh, that's what we need to do.
Teleport Anna.
Grab. Throw.
Teleblast.
Teleport Anna.
You just like ASMR the spells. Whoa!
Gold. I
I
found
just like
gold.
jumped in the air.
Teleport Anna.
Oh.
Teleport Hana. And now go uppies.
Ow, that hurt.
Oh, because there's no uppies to go to.
Is there anything up here where?
Blink. Shit.
Did you make it? Yeah, I can't do that.
Anna Portelli.
Chi, where are you?
I'm on the the pretty floor. Where are you? Oh hi.
All right, here.
Where'd they all go?
Well, Stitch is now like running across entire roofs.
Oh, he went all the way up.
Yeah. He went all the way up and then ran across roofs. Let's see. Where can we go? Where do you think we should go, Chi?
Oh, there's a stairs
way?
over here. There's a uppies right here.
I think that takes us straight up to the top.
Does it? Let's find out. Nope,
Yeah,
it's a
I don't
balcony.
think there's anything up there though.
It's just a balcony.
No. There's more stairs.
Oh,
Yeah, it takes us straight up to the top.
oh.
Oh, and I guess that other one is the other stairwell down. Okay, exit is that way, by the way, to
Yeah.
the east.
See that?
Okay, let's see here.
Hey,
So
come here.
same deal. Oh, I'm coming. What?
Anna Portelli.
Whee! Oh, here we go. We'll catch up to the others. I don't know why they're not knocking this stuff down. Teleblast. I mean, I didn't do much to it. See, we can set that stuff. Can't we set these books and stuff on fire or something?
I don't know. I don't have any way to set fire.
Okay.
I
Oh,
could piss
oh.
on stuff. Piss yuck.
There we go. Set the books on fire. Oh, you pissed out the candelabra. All right, let me try this again.
I found more stairs.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Teleblast.
Nice.
There we go. Got them both. Stairs.
Yeah, there's two sets.
Teleblast.
Grab Anna.
Teleblast.
Luxana.
Teleblast.
Arrow. Oh, I don't have that.
I
one.
hear you.
Hello.
Teleport.
Hello. Teleblast.
I just need you to know that
There we go.
Alsanna's dead.
Oh no.
Oh, where is he?
He's at the extraction.
Piss yuck.
He's at where?
He's at extraction.
How do we get there from here?
Teleport Anna. That depends on where you are.
I'm down the stairwell. Hang on. I'm gonna go back up the stairs. I hear you. Do you hear me? There we go.
Teleport
hear me?
Anna.
She
Chi,
said,
come
looking into my
over
eyes.
here. Oh crap! Ow! I just got shot in the air.
Oh, goblins! Goblins! Goblins!
Yeah, those goblins.
Grab
They're
Anna.
behind you. They're right there.
Telelock.
Grab Anna.
Telelock.
Fish yuck.
Teleblast.
Ow.
Sorry.
Teleblasted me.
Lux
Ow.
He just stole your wand.
He did, that jerk. Now what?
What potion is that?
All right, let's go. We need to go
It's,
revive.
It's to reduce what's it called? Cooldown.
That's a cooldown reduction, and you haven't drank it? Those are permanent.
Oh, it's permanent? I didn't know.
Yeah, swig
Drink
them
it.
down.
Alright. Wait, where does it
Swig them down. All right, so let's go revive Alsanna, I guess.
Man, he stole my wand. I just got it.
Did you piss on 3 monsters?
No.
2 monsters?
I haven't pissed on any monsters yet. He took it from me.
Well, you had the opportunity and did not use it, so
I didn't know
cost
I was-
us what?
Well, I did-
100 chaos?
I didn't know I was supposed to be peeing on monsters. I didn't look at the thingy.
Trade.
Dear Lord.
Listen.
Blink.
Whoa.
Ah,
There he is.
corpses anima. Anima.
Vita. Anima. Vita. Anima.
He's making it all dramatic.
Vita. Anima.
Grab Anna.
Vita.
Hi, Draconic.
Vita.
How are you?
It didn't work because you pulled me away. And now it's done.
No!
You used the grab on, pulled me away, and it didn't work.
Why did you stop talking?
Why'd you grab on me?
Because it was funny. Please stop talking.
Well, he's dead. He's still dead for another 278 seconds.
We got time. We can wait.
Okay.
Where's Red?
I don't know. Check the scrying orb.
Oh, he's not dead, thank goodness. Alright, I'm checking on time. Yeah, we got a long time.
Alsanna, I'm so sorry.
Poor Al.
Please
Luxana.
forgive me.
Start like a massive eulogy with him. Poor
gathered
Alsanna,
here
I
today.
hardly knew ye him. Ye him. What were you gonna say?
Alas,
there we
poor
go.
Alsanna, I knew him well.
Yeah. Where's the skull to hold in your hand? Even though his body's right there. Start speaking Shakespeare and everything.
If you give the wand to
All
somebody
right.
else, does the cooldown go away?
No.
What if you give it to me with the fast cooldown?
Maybe. Wrong
Oh,
one.
hang on. It's the other
Experiment.
one.
Oh.
Can I have my other one back though?
It always skips the 2 for some reason.
Thank you.
Alright, what's the cooldown on your...
Where does it say? Or do I have to try to cast it? Oh, there it is. Oh, it says 162 seconds.
Okay. That gives me time. Alas, poor Alsanna. I knew him, Alsanna, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy.
Poor Alsanna.
You don't want to eulogize over Alsanna?
He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times,
My
and
brother.
now how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it.
Red's just running around making us a shit ton more money.
Gorging. I don't know if it's a
Here
good idea
on
to talk
those
about
lips
gorging.
that I have kissed, I know not how oft.
Oh.
Where be your
Now we're
jibes
actually
now?
doing some real.
Your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment
How long
that
have
were
you
wont to set the table on a roar.
We're waiting to bring Alsanna back to life because he's dead.
Not one
Yeah.
now to mock your own grinning,
I didn't
quite
know you guys got
chapfallen.
here.
So,
Now to get you to my
Wham-
lady's chamber and tell
so
her
YapYap was
that her
trying
pain's an
to.
inch thick.
YapYap
to
was.
his favor she must come.
I'm gonna wear
Her laugh at that. Prithee, Alsanna, tell me one thing.
Okay.
So waiting for me to start talking again.
Yeah. We've got another 90 seconds.
YapYap was trying to bring Alsanna back to life, and then Stidge accidentally
And I did
pulled.
a silly. Oh no, it was
He
on
did a
purpose.
silly.
And then Stidge
Yeah,
pulled YapYap away, and the spell broke, and Alsanna didn't come back to life.
No, the spell didn't break. Wamba just stopped talking.
Oh, is that what happened? Okay. You just got off work? Nice. Welcome home.
All right. Another 60 seconds, pretty much. We've got enough to finish the night.
Yeah.
What are you doing to his corpse?
Dear God, Hoodie.
I do another one.
You're-
Don't do that to Alsanna.
Hey, give him back. I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm ready to go to bed. Don't mind me.
Grab on him.
Teleblast. Telelock.
Now, fuck off. Ignis boom.
Damn it. No! You... I thought you fucking killed me. Like, blew me out of the tower. I thought I was going to go to my death. Lux Vita.
I got Alsanna back. Let's go.
Alright.
You're a sick puppy.
I don't care.
Alright, that should be enough. Can you get him back now?
3 seconds. Corpse, anima.
Anima, Vita. Anima, Vita. Anima, Vita.
Don't do it.
Anima,
Don't do it.
Vita.
I took even the
Anima, Vita.
Oh, hi guys.
Hi, welcome back.
He is back.
I got exploded off of the map.
Yeah, you got crippling bonitis, I know.
Yeah. And then, in addition to that, I feel like I happens to get my back blown out. I wonder if anyone can explain that to me.
Why is my butthole sore?
The fuck?
That's just the revival magic.
You better get back here.
Come on, Red.
5 seconds.
I ran really fast. Okay.
These guys.
I don't know what
blown
happened. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you do.
This world's a crazy place, man.
Those goblins, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Father,
Yo,
Father.
Bam!
did we do well? Ow.
Which fucking space system
Hey.
did I just send you to?
Hey.
Whoa.
I got sent into orbit, dude.
Teleblast.
I think we got killed Stitch. We lost Stitch again.
Teleblast.
Fuck,
Teleblast.
go ahead.
Teleblast.
Whoa. He just flicked his cheek and made a pop noise. Yeah, like
And when I
that.
flick my cheek, it makes a water drop sound.
Whoa.
All right. I think that's it for me.
Oh, he's spitting money.
Swap.
Poof.
One for the road. Wham wham.
Ah!
Sorry, Stitch. That wasn't for you. That was for Chi. Whichever space system you just ended up in.
What?
I was apologizing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you from Timbuktu.
What's your name?
Oh, wait.
Uh-oh. What's your name?
It's gone.
He
Where the fuck
poofed.
did he go?
Fuck you,
Swap.
Red!
Good catch, Stidge.
Hey guys, we have the Red Space Program. Any volunteers for the Red Space Program?
I do have a revival stick.
Any it was all.
Did you
Frog.
stomp on his
Wait,
head?
Matt, you look like
Frog.
you want to go to space.
Grab Anna.
No,
Frog.
I'm good. I have the revival stick.
Frog.
Wham. Oh, it didn't work. That's because I didn't say it twice. You want to go to space?
Yeah, tell it blast.
Oh. Wham.
Tell
Oh,
him.
man. Oh, my bones.
Oh no!
Hey, Chi.
Yeah.
Grab Anna.
Oh. All right, I'm
Let me
broken.
show you
Blast.
what's done. Wham.
Yeah.
Ah!
Oh my god.
My neck!
I was hoping I'd do it right at the right time, but
Oh my god, my
fell down a little
ankles!
faster than I thought.
Ignis balls.
I'm so broken. My mouth still works though, that's good.
There you go. You still got broken.
Ow! Holy shit!
I got you in the house. It's good.
Teleportana.
Ignis boom.
Tell it blast.
Oh, there he is.
Arrow.
Hey.
I think the thud at the end.
Wham.
Whoa.
Tell
Alright.
So really, I'm never good with the range on that one.
Alright,
Telelock.
I'm logging off.
No.
Okay. Is there somewhere? Do you want?
I don't know, I haven't looked yet.
How's Red and the others feel?
I mean, I could keep going, but my throat hurts like.
Tell it blast. Tell it lock. Tell it lock. Fuck.
This
That's
is
I don't think you can
boing.
keep yourself stuck in the air like
Wham
that.
wham.
Okay, bye.
Go to space.
All right, bye, Chi.
That was chaos. Holy cow. Alright, let's find someone to raid now. Whew, that was a lot. So much was happening. Alright. Yeah, it's 100 degrees, that's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. Oh, fuck it, I'm just gonna raid Stitch. I'm gonna just raid Stitch, because he's still alive. Alright. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks for all the love and support. That was a lot of fun. Next stream we'll be playing some more Fields of Mystria. But I'll send you over to stage. I don't know if they're gonna keep going or not, but alright. Have a good night. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Love you. Goodbye. Get the fuck out. Goodbye.